Every person you meet is speaking two languages, one with words and another with silence, posture, glances, and energy. Most people only hear the first, but those who master the second hold a quiet power, the ability to see through masks, decode intentions, and understand human behavior at its core. The art of reading people gives you that power, and it will forever change how you see the world. The Art of Reading People, Mastering Human Behavior, written and published by Stoic Guardian. Introduction. Human beings are puzzles wrapped in layers of emotion, history, trauma, desire, and unspoken truth. Most interactions in daily life are based on surface-level signals, polite smiles, empty greetings, or routine conversations. But beneath that surface lies an unspoken reality, a world of hidden motives, micro-reactions, subtle cues, and unconscious drives shaping every decision, every word. The Art of Reading People, Mastering Human Behavior, is a field guide to that hidden world. This is not a book about manipulation or surface-level body language tricks. This is about learning to see, truly see, the forces operating beneath the surface of human behavior. From the buried shadows of the subconscious to the fragile voice of the inner child, every person carries unseen influences that silently guide their actions and reactions. If you want to master human connection, influence, leadership, relationships, negotiation, or self-awareness, this is where it begins. We'll explore how repressed emotions and unmet childhood needs unconsciously play out in adulthood. How that defensive co-worker might actually be masking fear of abandonment, or how a partner's silence might scream of unmet needs. You'll learn to detect when someone's words and body contradict each other, when their tone hides anxiety, or when their enthusiasm is just a mask for deep insecurity. But this book goes beyond others in its genre by giving equal importance to self-awareness. Before you can accurately read someone else, you must learn to read yourself. That means confronting your biases, exploring your shadow self, understanding your emotional triggers, and unpacking the psychological filters you use to perceive the world. In this journey, we'll draw from the latest psychological research, timeless principles from Jungian depth psychology, emotional intelligence, trauma theory, and neuroscience. You'll come to understand not just what people do, but why they do it. You'll see how childhood conditioning, unmet emotional needs, and survival strategies subtly shape adult behavior. We'll also decode nonverbal communication, the tiny signals most people miss, from facial micro-expressions and eye movements to voice tone and posture. You'll discover how the human body betrays truth, even when the mouth is lying. Whether you want to lead teams, strengthen your relationships, win negotiations, or simply understand your own inner workings with greater clarity, the Art of Reading People gives you the tools to unlock the psychology behind every smile, every silence, and every decision. This is your invitation to step into the realm of human truth, where empathy meets insight and connection begins with understanding. Motivation as a behavioral predictor. The depths of human motivation often lie hidden in the shadows of our psyche. These shadowy corners, first illuminated by Carl Jung, hold the key to understanding why we act in ways that sometimes surprise even ourselves. The shadow self is not a malevolent force, but rather a repository of suppressed desires, fears, and impulses that society or our conscious mind deems unacceptable. It is the raw, unfiltered version of who we are, stripped of social niceties and learned behaviors. Consider the last time you reacted with unexpected intensity to a seemingly minor situation. Perhaps a casual comment from a colleague sparked a disproportionate surge of anger, or an innocuous social media post triggered a wave of envy. These moments, when our emotions seem to hijack our rational mind, are often the shadow self making its presence known. By acknowledging and understanding these hidden aspects of our personality, we gain invaluable insights into our true motivations and those of others. The shadow self is not something to be feared or suppressed, but rather embraced and integrated. It holds the potential for growth, creativity, and authenticity. When we recognize that our actions are sometimes driven by these hidden forces, we can begin to make more conscious choices. This awareness allows us to harness the power of our shadow self, channeling its energy into positive outcomes rather than letting it control us from the darkness. In others, the shadow self manifests in subtle ways. The overly critical boss might be masking deep-seated insecurities. The friend who constantly seeks attention could be compensating for childhood neglect. By learning to spot these shadow expressions, we develop a more nuanced understanding of human behavior. This knowledge empowers us to respond with empathy and insight rather than judgment or frustration. Embracing the shadow self does not mean giving in to every impulse or desire. Instead, it involves acknowledging these hidden aspects of our personality and finding healthy ways to express them. This might involve creative pursuits, honest conversations, or personal reflection. The goal is integration, not indulgence. As you interact with others, try to look beyond surface-level behaviors. Consider what hidden motivations might be at play. Are they driven by unacknowledged fears, unfulfilled desires? By approaching interactions with this depth of understanding, you open the door to more meaningful connections and more effective communication. Remember, the shadow self is not a flaw to be fixed, but a fundamental part of the human experience. It is the source of our deepest fears, but also our greatest potential. By shining a light on these hidden aspects of ourselves and others, we unlock a new level of self-awareness and interpersonal understanding. This awareness is the first step towards mastering the art of reading people and navigating the complex landscape of human motivation. The next time you find yourself puzzled by someone's behavior, or your own, consider the shadow self. What unacknowledged needs or desires might be driving these actions? By asking these questions, you begin to unravel the intricate tapestry of human motivation, revealing the true forces that shape our interactions. Our inner child still lives within us. Beneath the veneer of adulthood, a powerful force shapes our behavior, reactions, and relationships. This force is our inner child, a psychological concept that represents the sum of our early experiences, emotions, and learned behaviors. Far from being a relic of the past, our inner child continues to exert a profound influence on our adult lives, often in ways we fail to recognize. Think back to a moment when you reacted disproportionately to a situation. Perhaps a minor criticism at work sent you spiraling into self-doubt, or a small disagreement with a loved one triggered an outsized emotional response. These instances often signal the awakening of our inner child, responding to present-day situations with the emotional toolkit of our younger selves. Understanding the role of the inner child in our adult behavior is crucial for developing emotional intelligence and improving our relationships. When we recognize that our reactions are sometimes rooted in childhood experiences, we gain the power to respond more consciously and appropriately to present-day challenges. The inner child is not just a source of vulnerability, it is also the wellspring of our creativity, spontaneity, and joy. By reconnecting with this aspect of ourselves, we can tap into a rich vein of authenticity and vitality that often gets buried under the weight of adult responsibilities and societal expectations. In others, the influence of the inner child can be seen in various behaviors and patterns. The colleague who struggles with authority figures might be replaying childhood dynamics with strict parents. The friend who avoids conflict at all costs may be echoing learned behaviors from a tumultuous upbringing. Recognizing these patterns allows us to approach others with greater empathy and understanding. To harness the positive aspects of our inner child while mitigating its less constructive influences, we must first acknowledge its existence. This involves reflecting on our childhood experiences and how they shape our current perceptions and reactions. It may also require healing work, such as inner child meditation or therapy, to address unresolved issues from our past. As we become more attuned to the presence of our inner child, we can learn to nurture and reassure this part of ourselves. This might involve practicing self-compassion, engaging in playful activities, or giving ourselves the emotional support we may have lacked in childhood. By doing so, we not only heal old wounds, but also cultivate a more balanced and resilient adult self. In our interactions with others, being aware of the inner child allows us to respond with greater patience and compassion. When someone reacts in a way that seems immature or disproportionate, we can consider what childhood experiences might be informing their behavior. This perspective shift can transform conflicts into opportunities for deeper understanding and connection. Remember, acknowledging the influence of our inner child does not mean relinquishing adult responsibilities or excusing inappropriate behavior. Rather, it provides a framework for understanding the complex interplay between our past and present selves. By integrating the wisdom of our adult selves with the authenticity and emotional honesty of our inner child, we can navigate life's challenges with greater grace and self-awareness. As you continue to explore the art of reading people, keep the concept of the inner child in mind. It offers a powerful lens through which to view human behavior, providing insights that can deepen your understanding of yourself and others. By recognizing and honoring the inner child in all of us, we open the door to more meaningful connections and a richer, more authentic way of being in the world. The motivation factor, pleasure or pain. At the core of human behavior lies a fundamental principle that has shaped our species' evolution and continues to drive our daily actions: the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain. This simple yet powerful dichotomy forms the bedrock of motivation, influencing everything from our most basic survival instincts to our loftiest aspirations. Understanding this principle is crucial in the art of reading people. When we observe behavior through this lens, seemingly complex actions often reveal themselves to be straightforward responses to perceived sources of pleasure or pain. The executive working long hours might be driven by the pleasure of achievement or the fear of failure. The friend who always says yes to social invitations could be motivated by the joy of connection or the pain of potential rejection. It is important to note that pleasure and pain in this context extend far beyond physical sensations. They encompass emotional, psychological, and social dimensions as well. The pleasure of belonging, the pain of isolation, the joy of self-expression, the discomfort of vulnerability. All these factors play into our motivational calculus, often on a subconscious level. One of the key insights in understanding human motivation is recognizing that people will generally go to greater lengths to avoid pain than to seek pleasure. This tendency, known as loss aversion in behavioral economics, explains why fear can be such a powerful motivator. It also sheds light on why people sometimes remain in unfulfilling situations, as the pain of change may seem greater than the potential pleasure of a new circumstance. To apply this understanding in reading people, start by observing their consistent patterns of behavior. What do they repeatedly seek out or avoid? What topics light them up with enthusiasm, and which ones make them visibly uncomfortable? These clues can provide valuable insights into their underlying motivations. It is also crucial to recognize that the same action can be motivated by either pleasure or pain avoidance, depending on the individual and the context. For instance, a person who exercises regularly might be driven by the pleasure of feeling fit and energized, or by the fear of health problems associated with a sedentary lifestyle. Understanding the true motivating factor can provide deeper insights into a person's psyche and decision-making process. In interpersonal relationships, being aware of this pleasure-pain principle can significantly enhance communication and empathy. By framing requests or suggestions in terms of potential pleasure or pain avoidance, we can more effectively motivate others and find mutually beneficial solutions to conflicts. However, it is important to approach this knowledge ethically. Understanding these deep-seated motivations should be used to foster understanding and positive interactions, not manipulation. The goal is to create win-win situations where both parties' needs for pleasure and pain avoidance are addressed. As you hone your skills in reading people, practice identifying the underlying pleasure or pain factors in various situations. Is a colleague's resistance to a new project stemming from the fear of failure or the discomfort of change? Is a friend's enthusiasm for a hobby driven by the joy of the activity itself, or the pleasure of social recognition? By developing this perspective, you will gain a more nuanced understanding of human behavior. You will see beyond surface-level actions to the fundamental drives that shape our choices and reactions. This insight not only enhances your ability to read others, but also provides a powerful tool for self-reflection and personal growth. Remember, while the pleasure-pain principle is a powerful framework for understanding motivation, human behavior is complex and multifaceted. Use this insight as one tool in your toolkit, always remaining open to the rich diversity of human experience and the unique factors that shape each individual's motivations and choices. The pyramid of needs, what drives human actions? Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs stands as a cornerstone in understanding human motivation, offering a comprehensive framework for decoding the complex tapestry of human behavior. This pyramid of needs, ranging from basic physiological requirements to the pinnacle of self-actualization, provides invaluable insights into why people act the way they do. At the base of the pyramid lie our most fundamental needs: food, water, shelter, and sleep. These physiological necessities form the foundation of all human motivation. When these needs are unmet, they dominate our thoughts and actions, overshadowing all other concerns. Understanding this level is crucial in reading people, as it reminds us that even the most sophisticated individual can be driven by these basic needs when they are threatened or unfulfilled. Moving up the pyramid, we encounter safety needs. This encompasses physical security, financial stability, health, and a general sense of order in one's life. People operating at this level may be primarily motivated by job security, saving money, or maintaining their health. Recognizing when someone is driven by safety concerns can help explain behaviors that might otherwise seem overly cautious or risk-averse. The third level addresses our social needs: love, belonging, and acceptance. Humans are inherently social creatures, and the drive to form connections and be part of a community is a powerful motivator. When reading people, consider how their actions might be influenced by the desire for companionship, the fear of rejection, or the need to maintain social status. Esteem needs occupy the fourth level of the pyramid. This includes both self-esteem and the desire for respect and recognition from others. People motivated at this level might seek achievements, status symbols, or positions of responsibility. Understanding this can help explain behaviors that seem driven by pride, ambition, or the need for acknowledgement. At the apex of the pyramid is self-actualization, the desire to reach one's full potential and achieve personal growth. Individuals operating at this level are often driven by creativity, problem-solving, and the pursuit of peak experiences. They may seem less concerned with external validation and more focused on personal fulfillment and making a meaningful impact. The beauty of Maslow's hierarchy lies in its ability to explain how motivations can shift based on circumstance. A person who normally operates at the level of self-actualization may suddenly become preoccupied with safety needs during a crisis. This fluidity reminds us to consider context when reading people and not to make assumptions based on isolated behaviors. When applying this framework to read people, look for clues that indicate which level of the hierarchy is currently dominating their motivation. Are they constantly worried about financial stability, indicating a focus on safety needs? Do they seek approval and validation from others, suggesting a drive for esteem? Or are they pursuing challenging personal goals, hinting at self-actualization? It is important to note that while the hierarchy is often depicted as a strict progression, in reality, people can be motivated by needs at multiple levels simultaneously. Moreover, cultural differences can influence how these needs are prioritized and expressed. By understanding Maslow's hierarchy, you gain a powerful tool for decoding human behavior. It provides a structured way to analyze motivations, predict actions, and empathize with others' perspectives. Whether you are navigating personal relationships, managing a team, or simply trying to understand yourself better, This framework offers valuable insights. As you continue to hone your skills in reading people, keep the pyramid of needs in mind. It serves as a reminder of the complex interplay of factors that drive human behavior. By considering which needs are most pressing for an individual at any given moment, you can gain deeper insights into their actions, decisions, and underlying motivation. Defending the ego. Why people hide their true intentions. The human ego, that intricate tapestry of self-perception and self-esteem, plays a pivotal role in shaping our behavior and interactions. It acts as both a shield and a lens, protecting our sense of self while coloring how we perceive the world around us. Understanding the ego's defensive mechanisms is crucial in the art of reading people, as it often leads individuals to mask their true intentions and motivations. At its core, ego defense is about self-preservation. We all have an innate need to maintain a positive self-position and to be seen favorably by others. This need can drive us to present a carefully curated version of ourselves to the world, one that aligns with our ideal self-position or societal expectations. The gap between this presented self and our true thoughts and intentions is where the challenge of reading people truly lies. Consider the colleague who always volunteers for additional projects despite being overwhelmed. On the surface, this behavior might appear as dedication or ambition. However, it could be masking a deep-seated fear of being perceived as inadequate or replaceable. The ego in this case is defending against the threat of perceived failure or rejection. Ego defense mechanisms can manifest in various ways. Projection, for instance, involves attributing one's own unacceptable thoughts or emotions to others. The person who is constantly accusing others of dishonesty might be grappling with their own issues of trustworthiness. Rationalization is another common defense, where individuals create logical explanations for behaviors that are actually driven by unconscious motives. To effectively read people, it is essential to look beyond these surface-level defenses. Pay attention to inconsistencies between words and actions, subtle changes in body language, or patterns of behavior that seem at odds with stated intentions. These discrepancies often hint at the underlying motivations that the ego is trying to conceal. It is also important to recognize that ego defense is not inherently negative. These mechanisms serve a protective function, helping individuals navigate complex social environments and maintain psychological stability. The key is to understand them as part of the human experience rather than judging them as character flaws. When interacting with others, creating an environment of psychological safety can help lower ego defenses. When people feel accepted and unthreatened, they are more likely to reveal their true selves. This might involve active listening, showing empathy, and avoiding judgment or criticism. Self-awareness is crucial in this process. Recognizing our own ego defenses allows us to approach others with greater compassion and understanding. It also helps us distinguish between our perceptions of others and the projections of our own insecurities or biases. As you develop your skills in reading people, practice identifying ego defense mechanisms in action. Notice when someone's reaction seems disproportionate to the situation or when their stated motivations don't quite align with their behavior. These moments often signal that the ego is at work, protecting some deeper vulnerability or insecurity. Remember, the goal in understanding ego defenses is not to exploit vulnerabilities, but to foster more authentic and meaningful interactions. By recognizing the complex interplay between the ego and behavior, we can approach others with greater empathy and insight. Ultimately, the art of reading people involves looking beyond the facade that the ego presents to the world. It requires patience, keen observation, and a willingness to suspend judgment. As you hone this skill, you'll find that understanding the role of ego defense not only enhances your ability to read others, but also provides valuable insights into your own motivations and behaviors. The subconscious desires we ignore. Beneath the surface of our conscious thoughts and deliberate actions lies a vast ocean of subconscious desires, shaping our behavior in ways we often fail to recognize. These hidden motivators, born from our deepest fears, unfulfilled needs, and repressed wishes, exert a powerful influence on our daily lives, relationships, and decision-making processes. Understanding these subconscious desires is crucial in the art of reading people, as they often reveal the true drivers behind seemingly inexplicable behaviors. The subconscious mind operates like a silent puppeteer, pulling strings we cannot see. It processes information, stores memories, and forms associations outside our awareness. This hidden mental activity can lead to behaviors that seem irrational or inconsistent when viewed solely through the lens of conscious thought. For instance, a person who consistently sabotages their romantic relationships might be acting on a subconscious fear of intimacy, rooted in childhood experiences of abandonment. On the surface, their actions might seem puzzling or self-destructive, but understanding the underlying subconscious desire for emotional protection provides a deeper insight into their behavior. To effectively read people, it is essential to look for patterns and recurring themes in their actions and reactions. These patterns often point to subconscious desires or fears that the individual may not even be aware of themselves. Pay attention to habitual behaviors, emotional triggers, and seemingly irrational decisions. These can be windows into the subconscious mind. One powerful subconscious desire that often goes unacknowledged is the need for validation and acceptance. This desire can manifest in various ways, from constantly seeking approval from others to avoiding situations where one might face criticism or rejection. Recognizing this underlying motivation can help explain behaviors that might otherwise seem attention-seeking or overly cautious. Another common subconscious driver is the desire for control. This can stem from deep-seated feelings of insecurity or past experiences of powerlessness. It might manifest as micromanagement in professional settings, overprotectiveness in relationships, or an inability to delegate tasks. Understanding this subconscious need can provide valuable insights into leadership styles, interpersonal dynamics, and decision-making processes. The subconscious mind also harbors our deepest fears and anxieties. These hidden fears can drive avoidance behaviors, procrastination, or seemingly irrational phobias. For example, a person who consistently avoids public speaking opportunities might be acting on a subconscious fear of judgment or failure, rather than a simple dislike of the activity. It is important to approach the exploration of subconscious desires with empathy and without judgment. These hidden motivators are often rooted in past experiences or learned behaviors that served a protective function at some point. Recognizing them in others and in ourselves should be a process of understanding rather than criticism. Developing the ability to recognize subconscious desires requires keen observation and a willingness to look beyond surface-level explanations. Practice active listening, paying attention not just to what people say but how they say it. Notice nonverbal cues, emotional reactions, and patterns of behavior that might hint at deeper, unspoken motivations. Self-reflection is also a crucial tool in understanding subconscious desires. By examining our own hidden motivations, we become better equipped to recognize them in others. This process of self-discovery can be challenging, but ultimately rewarding, leading to greater self-awareness and more authentic interactions with others. As you hone your skills in reading people, remember that the subconscious mind is complex and multifaceted. Avoid making sweeping generalizations or jumping to conclusions based on limited information. Instead, approach each individual as a unique puzzle with their own set of subconscious desires and motivations waiting to be understood. By acknowledging and understanding the subconscious desires we often ignore, we open the door to more profound insights into human behavior. This deeper level of understanding not only enhances our ability to read people, but also fosters greater empathy, improved communication, and more meaningful connections in all areas of life. Chapter 2. The Body, the Face, and Clusters. The Truth in Facial Expressions. The human face is a canvas of emotion, a dynamic display that reveals our innermost feelings often before we're even aware of them ourselves. Mastering the art of reading facial expressions is akin to learning a universal language, one that transcends cultural and linguistic barriers. This skill is not just about identifying smiles or frowns, it's about decoding the subtle nuances that betray our true emotional states. Paul Ekman, a pioneer in the study of emotions and facial expressions, identified 7 universal facial expressions: happiness, sadness, anger, fear, surprise, disgust, and contempt. These expressions are hardwired into our biology, appearing consistently across cultures and even in individuals born blind. Understanding these core expressions provides a foundation for reading more complex emotional states. The key to accurately reading facial expressions lies in attention to detail. A genuine smile, known as a Duchenne smile, involves not just the mouth but also the eyes, creating crow's feet at the corners. A forced smile, on the other hand, typically only engages the mouth muscles. This distinction can be crucial in determining sincerity in micro-expressions. Fleeting facial movements that last for a fraction of a second offer a window into suppressed or unconscious emotions. These brief flashes of genuine feeling can contradict a person's words or deliberate expressions, revealing hidden thoughts or intentions. Training yourself to spot these rapid expressions can dramatically enhance your ability to read people accurately. It's important to note that facial expressions should not be interpreted in isolation. Context is crucial. A furrowed brow might indicate concentration rather than anger, depending on the situation. Cultural differences can also influence how emotions are expressed and interpreted. While the basic expressions are universal, their intensity and the situations that elicit them can vary across cultures. Practice observing facial expressions in various settings, at work, in social gatherings, or even while watching films with the sound off. Pay attention to the interplay between different facial muscles. The combination of raised eyebrows, widened eyes, and a slightly open mouth signifies surprise, while narrowed eyes, tightened lips, and flared nostrils often indicate anger. Remember that people can learn to control their facial expressions to some extent. Politicians, actors, and those in high-stakes professions often train to manage their expressions. However, even the most skilled individuals typically have leakage, moments where true emotions slip through their controlled facade. As you develop this skill, be mindful of your own biases and assumptions. Our perceptions can be colored by our expectations and past experiences. Strive for objectivity in your observations, and be open to reassessing your initial interpretations. Ultimately, the ability to read facial expressions is not about gaining power over others, but about fostering deeper understanding and empathy. By becoming attuned to the subtle signals people send with their faces, you can respond more appropriately to their emotional needs, enhance your communication skills, and build stronger, more authentic relationships. As you continue to hone this skill, you'll find that the human face becomes an open book, rich with information about thoughts, feelings, and intentions. This knowledge, used wisely and ethically, can transform your interactions and deepen your connections with others in all aspects of life. Body talk, the language of movement. The human body is a powerful communicator, constantly broadcasting messages through posture, gestures, and movements. This nonverbal language often speaks louder than words, revealing truths that verbal communication might conceal. Mastering the art of reading body language is essential for anyone seeking to truly understand human behavior and motivation. Body language begins with posture. An open posture, with uncrossed arms and legs, typically indicates receptiveness and confidence. Conversely, a closed posture, with arms folded across the chest or legs tightly crossed, can signal defensiveness or discomfort. However, context is crucial. Crossed arms might simply mean the person is cold, not necessarily closed off. Hand gestures provide a wealth of information. Open palms often indicate honesty and openness, while clenched fists can suggest tension or anger. Touching one's face, particularly the nose or mouth, while speaking can be a sign of deception, as it's an unconscious attempt to cover the lie. However, this should be observed as part of a cluster of behaviors rather than in isolation. Feet and legs can reveal hidden intentions. When someone's feet are pointed towards you, it usually indicates engagement and interest. If they're pointed away, even if the person's upper body is facing you, it might suggest a desire to leave the conversation. Restless leg movements often indicate nervousness or impatience. Mirroring, where one person unconsciously mimics the posture and movements of another, is a powerful indicator of rapport and agreement. When you observe two people in sync with their body language, it's likely they're also in sync mentally and emotionally. Personal space is another crucial aspect of body language. The distance people maintain between themselves and others can indicate their level of comfort, cultural background, and the nature of their relationship. Invading someone's personal space can create discomfort, while maintaining an appropriate distance fosters trust and ease. It's important to note that body language should always be interpreted in context. Cultural differences can significantly impact how body language is expressed and interpreted. What's considered respectful eye contact in one culture might be seen as aggressive in another. Always consider cultural factors when reading body language. Baseline behavior is a crucial concept in body language reading. Everyone has a normal set of behaviors and movements. Deviations from this baseline can indicate stress, deception, or strong emotions. Observe people in relaxed settings to establish their baseline, making it easier to spot significant changes. Remember that body language reading is not about making absolute judgments, but about gathering information to form a more complete picture. No single gesture or posture tells the whole story. Look for clusters of behaviors that point in the same direction to draw more accurate conclusions. As you develop your skills in reading body language, practice observing people in various settings. Notice how body language changes in different contexts: professional versus social, comfortable versus stressful situations. Pay attention to the subtle shifts in posture, gestures, and facial expressions that occur during conversations. Developing proficiency in reading body language not only enhances your ability to understand others, but also increases your awareness of your own nonverbal communication. This self-awareness can help you present yourself more effectively and build stronger, more authentic connections with others. By mastering the language of movement, you gain access to a rich source of information about human behavior, emotions, and intention. This skill, used ethically and with empathy, can transform your personal and professional interactions, leading to deeper understanding and more effective communication in all areas of life. Micro-expressions. The hidden clues we miss. Micro-expressions are the fleeting, involuntary facial expressions that flash across a person's face in a fraction of a second, revealing true emotions before they can be masked or suppressed. These lightning-fast expressions are windows into the soul, offering glimpses of genuine feelings that might otherwise remain hidden. Mastering the art of detecting and interpreting micro-expressions is a powerful tool in the arsenal of anyone seeking to truly understand human behavior and emotion. First identified by researchers Paul Ekman and Wallace Friesen in the 1960s, micro-expressions are rooted in the same 7 universal emotions as full facial expressions: happiness, sadness, anger, fear, surprise, disgust, and contempt. The key difference is their duration. While a normal expression might last for several seconds, a micro-expression typically lasts for only 1/15 to 1/25 of a second. The power of micro-expressions lies in their authenticity. They occur involuntarily, bypassing conscious control. This makes them incredibly reliable indicators of a person's true emotional state, even when that person is attempting to conceal their feelings or present a different emotion entirely. For instance, A person might verbally express happiness, while a fleeting micro-expression of sadness reveals their true emotional state. Detecting micro-expressions requires intense focus and practice. The human brain is not naturally wired to catch such rapid facial movements. Training typically involves studying slow-motion video recordings of faces, gradually increasing the speed until one can spot these expressions in real-time interactions. It's a skill that demands patience and dedication to develop. Once detected, interpreting micro-expressions requires a nuanced understanding of facial muscle movements. Each emotion involves a specific combination of muscle activations. For example, genuine fear involves raised eyebrows, widened eyes, and a slightly open mouth with tensed lips. Recognizing these precise combinations is key to accurate interpretation. It's crucial to understand that micro-expressions don't tell the whole story. They reveal an emotion but not the reason behind it. A micro-expression of anger during a conversation doesn't necessarily mean the person is angry at you. They might be recalling an unrelated frustrating event. Context and further observation are essential for a complete understanding. Ethical considerations are paramount when developing this skill. The ability to detect micro-expressions gives one access to information that the other person may not be consciously sharing. It's important to use this knowledge responsibly, respecting others' privacy and not using it manipulatively. In professional settings, the ability to detect micro-expressions can be invaluable. In negotiations, it can reveal when someone is uncomfortable with a proposal despite verbal agreement. In customer service, it can help identify a client's true feelings about a product or service. In leadership roles, it can aid in understanding team members' genuine reactions to ideas or decisions. Personally, this skill can enhance empathy and emotional intelligence. By recognizing subtle emotional cues in friends and family, you can respond more appropriately to their needs, even when they're not explicitly expressed. This can lead to deeper, more meaningful relationships. As you develop this skill, remember that it's not about gaining an advantage over others, but about fostering better understanding and communication. Used ethically and with empathy, the ability to read micro-expressions can transform your interactions, allowing you to connect with others on a deeper, more authentic level. Practice is key. Start by observing people in various settings, paying close attention to their faces during conversations. Look for those brief flashes of emotion that seem incongruent with the overall expression. With time and dedication, you'll find yourself becoming more attuned to these subtle yet powerful signals of human emotion. The human body as a whole. Reading it correctly. The human body is a complex system of communication, with every part playing a role in conveying messages about our thoughts, feelings, and intentions. While individual elements like facial expressions and hand gestures provide valuable insights, true mastery in reading people comes from understanding the body as an integrated whole. This holistic approach allows for a more accurate and nuanced interpretation of nonverbal cues. The key to reading the body correctly lies in recognizing that all parts work in concert. A genuine emotion will typically manifest across multiple body parts simultaneously. For instance, true surprise doesn't just show on the face. It often involves a slight backward lean of the torso, raised hands, and a shift in foot position. This full-body response happens instinctively, making it a more reliable indicator than any single gesture. Congruence is a crucial concept in body language reading. When a person's words, tone of voice, and body language all align, it suggests honesty and authenticity. Incongruence, where these elements don't match up, can indicate deception, discomfort, or internal conflict. For example, if someone verbally agrees with you while their body turns away, it might suggest disagreement or a desire to end the conversation. Proxemics, the study of personal space and distance, is another important aspect of whole-body reading. The distance people maintain between themselves and others can indicate their level of comfort, cultural background, and the nature of their relationship. Changes in this distance during an interaction can reveal shifts in emotional states or intentions. Body orientation provides valuable information. The direction a person's body faces, particularly their feet, often indicates their focus of attention or desire. If someone's feet are pointed towards the exit during a conversation, it might suggest a subconscious desire to leave, even if their upper body remains engaged. A relaxed posture with loose muscles generally suggests comfort and ease, while tension in areas like the shoulders, jaw, or hands can indicate stress, anger, or anxiety. Learning to spot these subtle signs of muscle tension can provide early clues to a person's changing emotional state. Baseline behavior is crucial in whole-body reading. Everyone has a unique set of typical gestures, postures, and movements. Deviations from this baseline are often more telling than the behaviors themselves. Observing someone in various situations helps establish their baseline, making it easier to spot significant changes that might indicate stress, deception, or strong emotions. Cultural awareness is essential when reading body language as a whole. While some nonverbal cues are universal, many are culturally specific. What's considered respectful in one culture might be offensive in another. Always interpret body language within the appropriate cultural context to avoid misunderstanding. It's important to remember that reading body language is not about making absolute judgments, but about gathering information to form a more complete picture. No single gesture or posture tells the whole story. Look for clusters of behaviors that point in the same direction to draw more accurate conclusions. Developing proficiency in reading the body as a whole requires practice and patience. Start by observing people in various settings, noting how different parts of the body work together to convey messages. Pay attention to the subtle shifts in posture, gestures, and expressions that occur during conversation. As you hone this skill, you'll find that the human body becomes an open book, rich with information about thoughts, feelings, and intentions. This knowledge, used ethically and with empathy, can transform your interactions, leading to deeper understanding and more effective communication in all areas of life. Remember, the goal of reading body language is not to gain power over others, but to foster better understanding and empathy. By becoming attuned to the subtle signals people send with their entire body, you can respond more appropriately to their needs, enhance your communication skills, and build stronger, more authentic relationships. Thinking in message clusters, interpreting body signals accurately. The art of reading body language reaches its pinnacle when one learns to think in terms of message clusters. This approach involves interpreting multiple nonverbal cues simultaneously to form a comprehensive understanding of a person's emotional state and intentions. By focusing on clusters rather than isolated signals, you can dramatically increase the accuracy of your interpretations and avoid common pitfalls in body language reading. Message clusters are groups of nonverbal cues that occur together and point towards the same conclusion. For instance, a cluster indicating discomfort might include crossed arms, leaning away, minimal eye contact, and a forced smile. While any one of these signals in isolation could have multiple interpretations, when observed together, they provide a much clearer picture of the person's emotional state. The power of thinking in clusters lies in its ability to contextualize individual signals. A single gesture, like touching one's nose, could mean many things, from a simple itch to potential deception. However, when this gesture is part of a cluster that includes breaking eye contact, changing the subject, and increasing speech rate, it becomes a stronger indicator of possible dishonesty. To effectively read message clusters, one must develop a panoramic awareness of the entire body. This involves simultaneously observing facial expressions, hand gestures, body posture, and even subtle cues like changes in breathing patterns or skin color, such as blushing. It's a skill that requires practice and keen attention to detail. Consistency across different parts of the body is key in interpreting clusters. When all parts of the body are sending the same message, it's a strong indicator of genuine emotion or intent. Inconsistencies, on the other hand, can reveal internal conflicts or attempts to mask true feelings. For example, a person might verbally agree while subtly shaking their head no, a cluster that suggests disagreement despite verbal assent. Timing is crucial in cluster reading. Genuine emotional responses typically involve simultaneous changes across multiple body parts. If you observe a sequence of gestures that seem rehearsed or don't occur in natural synchronization, it might indicate a deliberate attempt to convey a specific impression rather than a genuine emotional response. Cultural context remains important, even when thinking in clusters. While some clusters are nearly universal, like those indicating basic emotions, others can vary significantly across cultures. Always interpret clusters within the appropriate cultural framework to avoid misunderstandings. It's essential to establish a baseline of normal behavior for individuals before interpreting their message clusters. What's unusual for one person might be entirely normal for another. By observing someone in various situations, you can identify their typical clusters of behavior, making it easier to spot significant deviations. Thinking in clusters also helps in avoiding the common mistake of over-interpretation. It's easy to read too much into a single gesture, but clusters provide a more balanced and reliable picture. They act as a safeguard against jumping to conclusions based on limited information. As you develop this skill, practice observing people in various settings. Look for patterns of behavior that occur together. Notice how different parts of the body work in concert to convey messages. Pay attention to the subtle shifts in these clusters during conversations or as situations change. Remember that the goal of reading message clusters is not to judge or manipulate, but to understand and connect more deeply with others. Used ethically, this skill can enhance empathy, improve communication, and lead to more meaningful interactions in both personal and professional settings. By mastering the art of thinking in message clusters, you elevate your ability to read body language from a collection of individual observations to a holistic understanding of human behavior. This comprehensive approach allows for more nuanced and accurate interpretations, providing valuable insights into the complex world of nonverbal communication. Chapter 3. Personality Science and Typology. The Science of Personality. What makes you, you? Personality, the unique blend of thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that define an individual, has fascinated scholars and lay people alike for centuries. The science of personality delves deep into the core of what makes each of us distinctively ourselves, offering insights that can revolutionize our understanding of human behavior and interactions. At its heart, personality science seeks to unravel the complex interplay of genetic predispositions, environmental influences, and personal experiences that shape who we are. This field combines rigorous empirical research with theoretical frameworks to create a comprehensive picture of human individuality. One of the fundamental questions in personality science is the nature versus nurture debate. Modern research suggests that personality is influenced by both genetic factors and environmental experiences. Studies on twins and adopted siblings have shown that while certain traits have a strong genetic component, the environment plays a crucial role in shaping how these traits are expressed. The stability of personality over time is another key area of study. Research indicates that while core personality traits tend to remain relatively stable throughout adulthood, there is room for change and growth. This understanding challenges the notion that personality is fixed and immutable, offering hope for personal development and transformation. Personality science also explores the concept of traits, enduring patterns of behavior, thought, and emotion that distinguish individuals from one another. Various models have been proposed to categorize these traits, with the five-factor model, also known as the Big Five, emerging as one of the most widely accepted frameworks in modern psychology. The role of personality in predicting behavior is a crucial aspect of this field. Understanding someone's personality can provide valuable insights into how they might react in different situations, their career preferences, relationship patterns, and even their likelihood of developing certain mental health conditions. Recent advances in neuroscience have opened new avenues for personality research. Brain imaging studies are beginning to reveal the neural correlates of different personality traits, offering a biological basis for understanding individual differences. The practical applications of personality science are vast. In organizational settings, it informs hiring decisions, team composition, and leadership development. In clinical psychology, it aids in diagnosis and treatment planning. In education, it helps tailor teaching methods to individual learning styles. As you delve deeper into the science of personality, remember that while these frameworks offer valuable insights, they are models, not absolute truths. Each individual is unique, and no single theory can fully capture the complexity of human personality. Understanding the science of personality not only enhances our ability to read and understand others, but also provides a mirror for self-reflection. It offers tools for personal growth, improved relationships, and a deeper appreciation of the rich tapestry of human diversity. By embracing the insights of personality science, we open doors to more effective communication, empathy, and mutual understanding. This knowledge, when applied with wisdom and respect for individual differences, has the power to transform our personal and professional interactions, leading to richer, more fulfilling relationships and a deeper understanding of the human experience. The Big Five Traits: Predicting Behavior Through Psychology. The Big Five personality traits, also known as the five-factor model, stand as one of the most robust and widely accepted frameworks in personality psychology. This model provides a comprehensive lens through which to understand and predict human behavior, offering insights that can revolutionize our approach to personal relationships, professional interactions, and self-development. The Big Five traits are openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism, often remembered by the acronym OCEAN. Each of these traits exists on a continuum, with individuals falling somewhere between the extremes of each dimension. Openness to experience reflects a person's curiosity, creativity, and willingness to try new things. Those high in openness tend to be imaginative, artistic, and intellectually curious. They're often drawn to novel experiences and abstract thinking. In contrast, those low in openness prefer familiarity, concrete thinking, and traditional approaches. Conscientiousness measures an individual's level of organization, dependability, and self-discipline. Highly conscientious people are typically goal-oriented, responsible, and detail-focused. They excel in structured environments and are often successful in professional settings. Those low in conscientiousness tend to be more spontaneous, flexible, and sometimes disorganized. Extroversion gauges a person's sociability, assertiveness, and energy levels in social situations. Extroverts draw energy from social interactions and tend to be outgoing and talkative. Introverts, on the other end of the spectrum, prefer solitude and find social interactions draining, though they can still be socially skilled. Agreeableness reflects an individual's tendency towards cooperation, empathy, and consideration for others. Highly agreeable people are often compassionate, trusting, and eager to avoid conflict. Those low in agreeableness tend to be more competitive, skeptical, and sometimes confrontational. Neuroticism measures emotional stability and the tendency to experience negative emotions. Individuals high in neuroticism are more prone to stress, anxiety, and mood swings. Those low in neuroticism tend to be more emotionally stable, calm under pressure, and resilient in the face of challenges. The power of the Big Five lies in its ability to predict behavior across various life domains. For instance, conscientiousness is a strong predictor of academic and professional success. Extroversion often correlates with leadership roles and social network size. Openness can predict creativity and adaptability to change. In relationships, understanding the Big Five can provide valuable insights. For example, couples with similar levels of agreeableness often report higher relationship satisfaction. Differences in extroversion can lead to conflicts over social activities and alone time. The Big Five traits also influence health behaviors and outcomes. Higher conscientiousness is associated with better health practices and longevity, while higher neuroticism can predict increased vulnerability to stress health issues. It's important to note that no trait combination is inherently good or bad. Each has its strengths and challenges depending on the context. The goal is not to change one's personality, but to understand it and leverage its strengths while managing potential weaknesses. As you apply the Big Five in reading people, remember that these traits interact in complex ways. A person's behavior is not determined by a single trait, but by the unique combination of all five. Also, while traits are relatively stable, they can shift somewhat over time and in response to major life events. By understanding the Big Five, you gain a powerful tool for predicting behavior, improving communication, and fostering empathy. Whether you're navigating personal relationships, building effective teams at work, or seeking personal growth, the insights offered by this model can guide you towards more informed decisions and richer interactions. Remember, the Big Five is a framework, not a definitive categorization. Each individual is unique, and while these traits offer valuable insights, they should be used as a starting point for understanding, not as rigid labels. Used wisely, the Big Five can open doors to deeper self-awareness and more meaningful connections with others. Jung and the MBTI, Cognitive Functions at Play. Carl Jung's theory of psychological types and its popular offshoot, the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI, offer a fascinating lens through which to understand human personality and behavior. This framework, centered around cognitive functions, provides insights into how individuals perceive the world and make decisions, shaping their interactions and life choices in profound ways. Jung proposed that the human psyche is composed of various cognitive functions, which he categorized into two main types: perceiving functions, sensing and intuition, and judging functions, thinking and feeling. Each person, Jung theorized, has a dominant function that shapes their primary mode of engaging with the world. The MBTI, developed by Isabel Briggs Myers and Catherine Briggs, expanded on Jung's work, creating a system of 16 personality types based on 4 dichotomies: extroversion, E, versus introversion, I, sensing, S, versus intuition, N, thinking, Th, and versus perceiving, P. Understanding these cognitive functions is key to grasping the depth of the MBTI system. Sensing focuses on concrete, tangible information gathered through the 5 senses, while intuition deals with abstract patterns and possibilities. Thinking makes decisions based on logical analysis, whereas feeling, F, prioritizes personal and interpersonal considerations. The interplay of these functions creates unique personality types. For instance, an INTJ, introverted, intuitive thinking, judging, typically leads with introverted intuition, seeing underlying patterns and generating long-term visions. This is supported by extroverted thinking, which implements these visions through logical planning and organization. In contrast, an ESFP, extraverted sensing, feeling, perceiving, leads with extroverted sensing, living in the moment and seeking tangible experiences. This is backed by introverted feeling, which forms a strong internal value system guiding their decisions. The MBTI's power lies in its ability to explain how different types process information and make decisions. This understanding can be invaluable in improving communication, resolving conflicts, and building effective teams. For example, recognizing that a colleague processes information through intuition rather than sensing can help you present ideas in a way that resonates with their cognitive style. In relationships, understanding cognitive functions can foster empathy and reduce misunderstandings. An intuitive partner might need to consciously provide more concrete details to a sensing partner, while a thinking type might need to explicitly express emotions to a feeling type. However, it's crucial to approach the MBTI with nuance. While it offers valuable insights, it shouldn't be used as a rigid categorization system. People are complex, and behavior is influenced by many factors beyond personality type. The MBTI is best used as a starting point for self-reflection and understanding others, not as a definitive label. Critics of the MBTI point out its lack of scientific validity compared to more empirically supported models like the Big Five. However, many find its framework intuitively appealing and practically useful in personal and professional development. As you explore the MBTI and cognitive functions, remember that the goal is increased understanding and empathy, not stereotyping. Each individual is unique, and while type can offer insights, it doesn't define a person's entire being or potential. By delving into Jung's cognitive functions and the MBTI framework, you gain a powerful tool for understanding different modes of perception and decision-making. This knowledge can enhance your ability to read people, improve communication, and navigate diverse perspectives in both personal and professional settings. Used wisely, the insights from Jung's theory and the MBTI can lead to greater self-awareness, more effective teamwork, and richer, more empathetic relationships. It offers a language for understanding cognitive diversity, celebrating the unique strengths each type brings to the table. Kiersey's temperaments and how they shape us. David Kiersey's temperament theory offers a compelling framework for understanding human behavior and personality, providing insights that can profoundly impact our interactions and self-awareness. Building on the work of Jung and the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI, Kiersey identified 4 fundamental temperaments that shape how individuals engage with the world around them. Kiersey's 4 temperaments are the artisan, SP, guardian, SJ, idealist, NF, and rational, NT. Each temperament is characterized by distinct patterns of behavior, values, and motivations, offering a nuanced lens through which to view human diversity. The artisan's SP temperament is characterized by a focus on the present moment and a desire for freedom and spontaneity. Artisans are typically skilled at tactical thinking and excel in situations that require quick reflexes and adaptability. They often have a natural flair for aesthetics and physical skills, thriving in environments that allow for hands-on experiences and immediate results. Guardians, SJ, are the preservers of tradition and social norms. They value stability, responsibility, and duty. Guardians excel in logistical thinking, making them adept at managing resources and maintaining established systems. They often find fulfillment in roles that involve protecting, nurturing, or administering, and they tend to be the backbone of many social institutions. The idealist, NF, temperament is driven by a quest for self-actualization and meaningful connections. Idealists are typically skilled in diplomatic interactions and have a talent for understanding and inspiring others. They often gravitate towards roles in counseling, teaching, or other fields where they can help others reach their potential. Idealists are usually future-oriented and value personal growth and authenticity. Rationals, aka, are characterized by their drive for knowledge, competence, and strategic thinking. They excel in theoretical and technical fields, often pushing the boundaries of what's possible through innovation and system design. Rationals value logic and efficiency, and they typically seek to understand the underlying principles of how things work. Understanding these temperaments can provide valuable insights into behavior patterns, communication styles, and potential sources of conflict. For instance, an artisan's desire for immediate action might clash with a rational's need for thorough analysis before making decisions. Recognizing these inherent differences can lead to more effective communication and collaboration. In relationships, temperament theory can offer a framework for understanding and appreciating differences. An idealist partner might need to consciously provide more concrete, practical details to a guardian partner, while a rational might need to make an effort to engage in the emotional aspects of the relationship that an idealist values highly. In professional settings, understanding temperaments can inform team composition, task allocation, and leadership strategies. A team with a mix of temperaments can benefit from diverse perspectives, with each member contributing their unique strengths to the group's success. It's important to note that while temperament theory offers valuable insights, it should not be used as a rigid classification system. People are complex, and behavior is influenced by many factors beyond temperament. The theory is best used as a tool for understanding tendencies and preferences, not as a definitive predictor of behavior. As you explore Kiersey's temperaments, remember that the goal is increased understanding and empathy, not stereotyping. Each individual is unique, and while temperament can offer insights, it doesn't define a person's entire being or potential. By incorporating an understanding of temperaments into your approach to reading people, you gain a powerful tool for navigating diverse perspectives and communication styles. This knowledge can enhance your ability to build effective teams, resolve conflicts, and foster more meaningful relationships in both personal and professional spheres. Ultimately, Kiersey's temperament theory offers a language for appreciating cognitive diversity and the unique strengths each temperament brings to the table. Used wisely, these insights can lead to greater self-awareness, more effective collaboration, and a deeper appreciation for the rich tapestry of human personality. The Enneagram. Understanding core motivations. The Enneagram, an ancient system of personality typing, offers a profound and nuanced approach to understanding human behavior and motivation. Unlike many other personality frameworks, the Enneagram delves deep into the core motivations and fears that drive our actions, providing insights that can lead to profound personal growth and enhanced interpersonal understanding. At its heart, the Enneagram identifies 9 distinct personality types, each driven by a core motivation or passion. These types are not rigid categories, but rather dynamic patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving. The power of the Enneagram lies in its ability to reveal not just how we act, but why we act the way we do. Type 1, the perfectionist, is driven by a desire to be good, right, and perfect. They have a strong inner critic and strive for improvement in themselves and the world around them. Understanding this type helps in recognizing the underlying anxiety and self-criticism that often fuel their pursuit of excellence. Type 2, the helper, is motivated by the need to be loved and appreciated. They focus on meeting the needs of others, often at the expense of their own. Recognizing this type's fear of being unworthy of love can lead to more balanced relationships and self-care practices. Type 3, the achiever, is driven by the need to be successful and admired. They are often highly adaptable and image-conscious. Understanding this type's core fear of being worthless can help in addressing the underlying insecurities behind their relentless pursuit of achievement. Type 4, the individualist, is motivated by the need to be unique and express their authentic self. They often feel different from others and seek to understand and convey their emotional depths. Recognizing this type's fear of having no identity or personal significance can lead to more grounded self-expression. Type 5, the investigator, is driven by the need to understand and gain knowledge. They often withdraw to conserve energy and protect their inner world. Understanding this type's fear of being helpless or incapable can help in fostering more balanced engagement with the world. Type 6, the loyalist, is motivated by the need for security and support. They are often vigilant about potential threats and seek reassurance. Recognizing this type's core fear of being without guidance can lead to more trust in themselves and others. Type 7, the enthusiast, is driven by the need to experience all life has to offer and avoid pain. They are often optimistic and adventurous. Understanding this type's fear of being deprived or in pain can help in developing more depth and commitment in their pursuits. Type 8, the challenger, is motivated by the need to be strong and avoid vulnerability. They often take charge and protect others. Recognizing this type's fear of being controlled or harmed can lead to more balanced expressions of strength and vulnerability. Type 9, the peacemaker, is driven by the need for harmony and to avoid conflict. They often merge with others' viewpoints and struggle with inertia. Understanding this type's fear of being in conflict or disconnected can lead to more effective communication and deeper relationships. 9s are typically easygoing and supportive, often prioritizing the needs and desires of others over their own. This tendency can lead to a lack of self-awareness and difficulty in asserting their own opinions and desires. Recognizing this pattern is crucial for 9s to cultivate a stronger sense of self and to express their needs more openly. The core motivation of Type 9 is the desire for peace and stability. They seek to create a harmonious environment, often acting as mediators in conflicts. However, their avoidance of conflict can sometimes result in passive-aggressive behavior or unresolved issues that fester beneath the surface. By understanding the core fears and motivations of each Enneagram type, we gain a powerful tool for self-discovery and interpersonal understanding. This knowledge allows us to approach relationships with greater empathy and insight, recognizing that behaviors we might find frustrating often stem from deep-seated needs and fears. The Enneagram's value lies not just in identifying our own type, but in understanding the interplay between different types. This awareness can lead to more effective communication, conflict resolution, and team dynamics in both personal and professional settings. As you explore the Enneagram, remember that while we may have a dominant type, we all possess aspects of each type within us. Growth often involves integrating the positive qualities of other types and moving beyond the limitations of our core type. Ultimately, the Enneagram offers a path to greater self-awareness and compassion for others. By recognizing the core motivations that drive behavior, we can navigate our relationships with deeper understanding and empathy, fostering more meaningful connections and personal growth. The exploration of personality's darker aspects reveals the complex interplay between narcissists, empaths, and manipulators. Narcissists, characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance and lack of empathy, often manipulate situations to maintain control. They may employ tactics like gaslighting to assert dominance in relationships. Recognizing these signs is crucial for protecting oneself and fostering healthier interactions. Empaths, with their heightened sensitivity to others' emotions, can form deep connections but are also vulnerable to manipulation. Narcissists often target empaths, exploiting their kindness and willingness to help. For empaths, understanding these dynamics is essential to establish boundaries and protect their emotional well-being. By recognizing their own needs and practicing self-care, empaths can navigate relationships more effectively and avoid being drained by toxic individuals. Manipulators, a broader category that includes narcissists and other personality types, use various tactics to control or influence others for personal gain. These tactics can be subtle, such as guilt-tripping, emotional blackmail, or playing the victim. Recognizing manipulation requires keen observation and self-awareness. Developing assertiveness and clear communication can help individuals resist manipulation and foster healthier relationships. The interplay between these personality types underscores the importance of self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Understanding one's own traits and how they interact with others leads to more meaningful connections and healthier boundaries. It's essential to cultivate empathy while also recognizing when to protect oneself from harmful dynamics. In conclusion, understanding the dark side of personality presents both challenges and opportunities for growth. By recognizing the traits of narcissists, empaths, and manipulators, individuals can navigate relationships with greater awareness and intention. This knowledge empowers us to foster healthier connections, establish boundaries, and ultimately lead more fulfilling lives. The dark side of personality. Narcissists, empaths, and manipulators. Delving into the darker aspects of personality reveals a complex interplay of traits that can significantly impact relationships and social dynamics. Understanding these elements is crucial for navigating the intricacies of human interaction and protecting oneself from potentially harmful situations. Narcissists, characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance and a deep-seated need for admiration, often leave a trail of emotional destruction in their wake. Their lack of empathy and tendency to exploit others for personal gain can create toxic environments in both personal and professional settings. Recognizing the signs of narcissism, such as grandiosity, entitlement, and a constant need for praise, is the first step in protecting oneself from their manipulative tactics. Empaths, on the other hand, possess a heightened sensitivity to the emotions and energies of others. While this trait can foster deep connections and understanding, it also makes empaths particularly vulnerable to manipulation and emotional exhaustion. Narcissists often target empaths, drawn to their compassionate nature and willingness to give. For empaths, learning to establish firm boundaries and prioritize self-care is essential for maintaining emotional well-being in the face of energy-draining relationships. Manipulators, a broader category that includes narcissists and other personality types, employ a range of tactics to control or influence others for personal benefit. These strategies can be subtle and insidious, ranging from gaslighting and emotional blackmail to love bombing and playing the victim. Recognizing these manipulation techniques requires vigilance and a strong sense of self-worth. Developing assertiveness skills and learning to trust one's own perceptions are crucial defenses against manipulative behavior. The interplay between these personality types creates complex relationship dynamics. Narcissists may seek out empaths for their seemingly endless supply of attention and validation. Empaths, driven by a desire to help and heal, may be drawn to the charisma of narcissists or the perceived neediness of manipulators. This cycle can lead to deeply unhealthy relationships where boundaries are constantly violated and emotional abuse becomes normalized. Understanding these darker personality traits is not about labeling or pathologizing individuals, but rather about developing the tools to navigate complex social landscapes. It's important to remember that personality exists on a spectrum, and many people may exhibit some of these traits without fully embodying the more extreme manifestation. For those dealing with narcissists or manipulators, setting clear boundaries and limiting exposure are often necessary steps. This might involve reducing contact, seeking support from trusted friends or professionals, and working on building self-esteem and assertiveness skills. For empaths, learning to differentiate between healthy empathy and emotional enmeshment is crucial. Practicing self-care, setting limits on emotional involvement, and developing a strong sense of self can help empaths maintain their well-being while still connecting deeply with others. Ultimately, understanding the dark side of personality empowers individuals to make informed choices about their relationships and interactions. It provides a framework for recognizing potentially harmful dynamics and taking proactive steps to protect one's emotional and psychological well-being. By cultivating self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and healthy boundaries, we can navigate even the most challenging personality landscapes with greater resilience and wisdom. As we continue to explore the complexities of human personality, it's essential to approach this knowledge with compassion, both for ourselves and others. Recognizing these darker traits in ourselves or those close to us can be challenging, but it also opens the door to growth, healing, and the possibility of more authentic and fulfilling relationships. Chapter 4. Lie Detection 101 and Caveats. The problem of uncertainty. Why lies are hard to catch. The art of detecting deception is fraught with complexity and uncertainty. Despite popular belief, there is no foolproof method for catching lies, and even trained professionals can struggle to distinguish truth from falsehood. This inherent difficulty stems from several key factors that make lie detection a challenging endeavor. Firstly, the physiological and behavioral cues associated with lying are not universal. While popular culture often portrays liars as exhibiting clear signs such as avoiding eye contact or fidgeting, Research has shown that these indicators are unreliable. Some individuals may display these behaviors when telling the truth, while skilled liars can maintain composure and eye contact effortlessly. The variability in human behavior adds another layer of complexity. Each person has unique baseline behaviors and reactions, making it difficult to establish a universal standard for deceptive behavior. What might be a telltale sign of lying in one person could be a normal mannerism in another. Cognitive factors also play a significant role in the challenge of lie detection. The human brain is remarkably adept at creating and maintaining false narratives. When people lie, they often convince themselves of the truth of their statements, a phenomenon known as self-deception. This blurring of the lines between truth and falsehood in the liar's own mind can make detecting deception exceptionally difficult. Moreover, the context in which a potential lie is told greatly influences both the liar's behavior and the observer's interpretation. High-stakes situations might cause even honest individuals to display signs of stress or anxiety, which could be misinterpreted as indicators of deception. Conversely, low-stakes lies might not elicit any noticeable change in behavior. The problem of confirmation bias further complicates lie detection. Observers often see what they expect to see, interpreting ambiguous signals in a way that confirms their pre-existing suspicions. This can lead to false positives in lie detection, where truthful statements are mistakenly identified as lies. Additionally, cultural differences can significantly impact the expression and interpretation of potentially deceptive behavior. What might be considered a sign of dishonesty in one culture could be a mark of respect or politeness in another. This cultural variability adds yet another layer of uncertainty to the process of lie detection. The limitations of human memory also contribute to the challenge. People often misremember details or unintentionally alter their recollections over time. What might appear to be a lie could simply be an honest mistake or a product of the malleable nature of human memory. Lastly, the pressure of being scrutinized for potential deception can itself produce behaviors that mimic lying. The fear of being disbelieved, even when telling the truth, can cause individuals to exhibit nervous behaviors that might be misinterpreted as signs of deceit. Understanding these challenges is crucial for anyone attempting to detect lies. It underscores the importance of approaching lie detection with humility and skepticism, recognizing that absolute certainty is rarely achievable. Instead of seeking definitive proof of deception, it's often more productive to look for inconsistencies, gather additional information, and consider alternative explanations for observed behaviors. By acknowledging the inherent uncertainty in lie detection, we can adopt a more nuanced and effective approach to understanding human behavior and communication. This recognition allows us to move beyond simplistic notions of truth and falsehood, embracing the complex reality of human interaction and decision-making. Detecting deception, verbal and nonverbal clues. While no single behavior definitively indicates deception, a combination of verbal and nonverbal cues can provide valuable insights when attempting to detect lies. Understanding these indicators, along with their limitations, is crucial for developing a nuanced approach to lie detection. Verbal cues often offer subtle hints of deception. One key indicator is a change in speech patterns. Liars may speak more slowly as they construct their false narrative, or they might talk faster to get through their deception quickly. Pay attention to sudden changes in the pace, tone, or volume of speech, as these can signal discomfort with the topic at hand. The content of speech also provides important clues. Deceptive individuals often use distancing language, such as referring to themselves in the third person, or using passive voice to remove themselves from the action. They may also resort to qualifying statements like, "to the best of my knowledge," or "as far as I can recall," to give themselves room for error. Evasiveness in answering direct questions is another verbal red flag. Liars might repeat the question to buy time, answer a question with another question, or provide overly verbose responses to simple queries. Conversely, they may offer unusually brief answers, providing minimal details to avoid getting caught in a lie. Nonverbal cues, while not foolproof, can complement verbal indicators. Body language often betrays inner turmoil, even when words do not. Watch for clusters of behaviors rather than isolated gestures. For instance, a person touching their face, shifting their posture, and avoiding eye contact simultaneously might indicate discomfort or deception. Micro-expressions, fleeting facial expressions that last for a fraction of a second, can reveal emotions that a person is trying to conceal. These brief flashes of genuine feeling often contradict the emotion being verbally expressed or deliberately shown on the face. Training to recognize these subtle expressions can significantly enhance lie detection skills. Changes in baseline behavior are particularly telling. If someone who is usually animated suddenly becomes still, or vice versa, it may indicate internal conflict. Similarly, incongruence between verbal and nonverbal communication, such as nodding while saying no, can signal potential deception. Physiological responses, while harder to detect without specialized equipment, can also indicate lying. Increased blinking, dilated pupils, flushing or pallor, and changes in breathing patterns may accompany deception. However, these signs can also be triggered by stress or anxiety, highlighting the importance of context in interpretation. It's crucial to remember that these cues are not definitive proof of lying. Cultural differences, individual personality traits, and situational factors can all influence behavior. Moreover, skilled liars may be adept at controlling these indicators, while honest individuals might exhibit them due to nervousness or other factors. The key to effective lie detection lies in observing clusters of behaviors. Establishing a baseline and considering context, look for sudden changes in behavior, inconsistencies between verbal and nonverbal communication, and patterns that deviate from an individual's normal conduct. Importantly, the absence of deceptive indicators doesn't guarantee truthfulness. Some individuals may not display any typical signs of lying, either due to skill or because they believe their own falsehoods. Therefore, lie detection should always be approached with caution and skepticism, used in conjunction with other investigative methods rather than relied upon exclusively. By developing a nuanced understanding of these verbal and nonverbal cues, while remaining aware of their limitations, one can enhance their ability to detect potential deception. This skill, when used ethically and in appropriate contexts, can lead to more informed decision-making and improved interpersonal understanding. Using the element of surprise to unmask a liar. The element of surprise can be a powerful tool in unmasking deception, catching liars off guard and revealing inconsistencies in their fabricated narratives. This technique leverages the cognitive load associated with maintaining a lie, making it more difficult for deceivers to keep their stories straight when faced with unexpected questions or situations. The effectiveness of surprise in lie detection stems from the fact that lying is cognitively demanding. When people lie, they must simultaneously suppress the truth, construct a plausible false narrative, remember the details of this fabrication, and present it convincingly. This mental juggling act becomes even more challenging when unexpected elements are introduced. One way to employ surprise is through unanticipated questions. While liars often prepare for standard inquiries related to their deception, they may struggle to respond coherently to questions that come out of left field. For instance, if someone is lying about their whereabouts on a particular evening, they might be prepared to describe what they claim to have been doing, but could be thrown off by a sudden question about the weather that night, or a seemingly unrelated event that occurred in the vicinity. Changing the order of questioning can also be effective. Liars often rehearse their stories in a specific sequence. By altering this expected order, you can disrupt their prepared narrative and potentially expose inconsistencies. This might involve jumping back and forth between different aspects of the story or revisiting previously discussed points from a new angle. Another surprise tactic is to introduce new information suddenly. This could be a piece of evidence or a statement that contradicts the liar's account. The key is to present this information abruptly, observing the immediate reaction. A truthful person might be confused or curious about the new information, while a liar might become defensive or struggle to incorporate this unexpected element into their false narrative. Rapid-fire questioning can also serve as a form of surprise. By asking a series of quick, related questions without giving the person time to think between responses, you can increase the cognitive load and potentially reveal inconsistencies. This technique is particularly effective when alternating between relevant and irrelevant questions, keeping the subject off balance. Physical surprises can be equally revealing. Suddenly changing the environment, such as moving to a different room or introducing an unexpected object related to the topic of discussion, can disrupt a liar's concentration and potentially lead to revealing reactions or statements. It's important to note that while surprise can be an effective tool, it should be used judiciously and ethically. Excessive or aggressive use of surprise tactics can be counterproductive, causing stress or defensiveness, even in truthful individuals. The goal is to create a situation where deception becomes more difficult to maintain, not to intimidate or coerce. Moreover, the effectiveness of surprise can diminish with repeated use. Skilled liars may learn to anticipate and prepare for unexpected elements, adapting their strategies accordingly. Therefore, surprise should be used sparingly and in conjunction with other lie detection techniques for maximum effectiveness. When employing surprise in lie detection, it's crucial to pay close attention to immediate reactions. Look for micro-expressions, changes in body language, shifts in speech patterns, or inconsistencies in the narrative that emerge in response to the unexpected element. These subtle cues can provide valuable insights into the veracity of the person's statements. By skillfully incorporating the element of surprise into questioning and observation techniques, one can enhance their ability to detect deception. However, it's essential to approach this method with caution, always considering the possibility of alternative explanations for observed behaviors and maintaining a balanced, ethical approach to lie detection. Increasing cognitive load, forcing a liar to reveal the truth. Increasing cognitive load is a sophisticated technique in lie detection that exploits the mental strain associated with maintaining a false narrative. By deliberately making the act of lying more challenging, this method can potentially force deceivers to reveal inconsistencies or inadvertently disclose the truth. Understanding and applying this concept can significantly enhance one's ability to detect deception. The principle behind increasing cognitive load is rooted in the fact that lying typically requires more mental resources than telling the truth. When people lie, they must simultaneously suppress the truth, construct a plausible falsehood, remember the details of their fabrication, and present it convincingly. By adding additional mental tasks or complexities to this already demanding process, we can make it more difficult for liars to maintain their deception. One effective way to increase cognitive load is through reverse order recall. In this technique, the subject is asked to recount their story in reverse chronological order. While a truthful person might struggle with this task, they generally can reconstruct events backwards with some effort. A liar, however, often finds this exceptionally challenging, as they must reverse engineer their fabricated narrative on the spot, increasing the likelihood of inconsistencies or errors. Another method involves asking for concurrent tasks during the recounting of events, for instance, requesting that the person maintain eye contact while narrating their story, or asking them to perform a simple mental arithmetic task while answering questions. These additional tasks compete for cognitive resources, making it harder for a liar to maintain their false narrative convincingly. Introducing spatial elements to the questioning can also increase cognitive load. Asking the subject to draw a map or diagram of the location they're describing while narrating events can reveal inconsistencies in a fabricated story. A truthful person, drawing from actual memories, generally finds this task manageable, while a liar might struggle to create and maintain a coherent spatial representation of their false narrative. Unexpected shifts in perspective can serve as another tool. Asking the subject to recount the events from another person's point of view or to describe peripheral details that wouldn't typically be the focus of attention can catch liars off guard. These requests require on-the-spot creativity and consistency, which can be particularly challenging for someone maintaining a false narrative. Time-restricted responses can also increase cognitive pressure. By limiting the time available for answers, you force quick decision-making, which can be especially difficult for liars who need to ensure their responses align with their previously stated falsehoods. It's crucial to note that while these techniques can be effective, they should be used judiciously and ethically. Excessive cognitive load can cause stress and anxiety, even in truthful individuals, potentially leading to false positives in lie detection. The goal is to create a situation where deception becomes more challenging to maintain, not to overwhelm or coerce the subject. Moreover, the effectiveness of these techniques can vary based on individual differences. Some people naturally have higher cognitive capacities or may be more skilled at multitasking, allowing them to handle increased cognitive load more effectively, regardless of whether they're lying or telling the truth. When employing cognitive load techniques, it's essential to establish a baseline for the individual's normal behavior and cognitive abilities. This allows for more accurate interpretation of their responses under increased mental strain. Look for signs of increased effort, such as longer pauses, speech disfluencies, or inconsistencies in the narrative. By skillfully applying methods to increase cognitive load, one can create conditions that make sustaining a lie more difficult, potentially leading to the revelation of truth. However, it's important to approach this technique as part of a broader, nuanced strategy for lie detection, always considering alternative explanations for observed behaviors and maintaining an ethical, balanced approach to uncovering the truth. Common lie-detecting mistakes people make. Despite the widespread fascination with lie detection, many people fall prey to common misconceptions and errors when attempting to discern truth from falsehood. Understanding these pitfalls is crucial for developing a more accurate and nuanced approach to detecting deception. One of the most pervasive mistakes is relying on single, isolated behaviors as definitive indicators of lying. Popular culture often perpetuates the myth that certain actions, such as avoiding eye contact or touching one's nose, are sure signs of deception. In reality, no single behavior conclusively indicates lying. Truthful individuals may exhibit these behaviors due to nervousness or cultural norms, while skilled liars can easily control such obvious tells. Another common error is failing to establish a behavioral baseline. People have unique mannerisms and patterns of behavior that may appear suspicious out of context. Without understanding an individual's normal conduct, it's easy to misinterpret natural behaviors as signs of deception. Effective lie detection requires observing changes from a person's baseline behavior rather than judging isolated actions. Over-reliance on body language is another frequent mistake. While non-verbal cues can provide valuable insights, they are not foolproof indicators of deception. Cultural differences, personal habits, and situational factors can all influence body language, making it an unreliable sole criterion for detecting lies. A more holistic approach, considering both verbal and non-verbal cues in context, is essential for accurate assessment. Many people also fall into the trap of confirmation bias, interpreting ambiguous signals in a way that confirms their pre-existing suspicions. If someone believes another person is lying, they may unconsciously focus on behaviors that support this belief while ignoring contradictory evidence. This bias can lead to false accusations and damaged relationships. Neglecting the impact of stress and anxiety on behavior is another common oversight. High-stakes situations can cause even honest individuals to display signs of nervousness that might be misinterpreted as deception. It's crucial to consider the context and potential sources of stress when evaluating someone's behavior. Another significant error is assuming that skilled liars will inevitably reveal their deception through observable cues. Some individuals, particularly those who lie frequently or have practiced extensively, may not display typical signs of lying. Conversely, some truthful people may appear deceptive due to anxiety or poor communication skills. Many people also make the mistake of relying too heavily on intuition or gut feelings when detecting lies. While intuition can be valuable, it's often influenced by personal biases and preconceptions. A more objective, evidence-based approach is necessary for accurate lie detection. Failing to consider alternative explanations for suspicious behavior is another common pitfall. What might appear to be a sign of deception could have innocent explanations. For instance, inconsistencies in a story might be due to genuine memory lapses rather than intentional deception. Overconfidence in one's ability to detect lies is perhaps one of the most dangerous mistakes. Studies have shown that most people, including many professionals, perform only slightly better than chance when attempting to detect deception. This overconfidence can lead to hasty judgments and false accusations. Lastly, many people forget that the absence of deceptive indicators doesn't guarantee truthfulness. Some individuals may not display any typical signs of lying, either due to skill or because they believe their own falsehoods. To avoid these common mistakes, it's essential to approach lie detection with humility and skepticism. Focus on clusters of behaviors rather than isolated cues. Establish a baseline, consider context and alternative explanations, and be aware of your own biases. Remember that lie detection is a complex skill that requires practice, objectivity, and a nuanced understanding of human behavior. The subtle art of spotting half-truths. Half-truths pose a unique challenge in the realm of deception detection as they blend elements of truth with misleading information. Recognizing these subtle forms of deception requires keen observation and critical thinking skills. One key indicator of half-truths is selective information sharing. People may omit crucial details or context to create a distorted perception of reality. For example, someone might boast about a successful work project without mentioning it was a team effort. Vague language is another hallmark of half-truths. The use of ambiguous terms or phrases like "many people say" without specific evidence can lend false credibility to statements. This vagueness often masks a lack of substantial support for claims. Emotional manipulation frequently accompanies half-truths. By appealing to emotions rather than facts, individuals can sway opinions and create unwarranted urgency or fear. Recognizing when emotions are being leveraged instead of concrete information is crucial for identifying half-truths. Inconsistencies in narratives over time can also signal half-truths. When stories change or contradict themselves, it may indicate selective presentation of information to fit an agenda. Paying attention to these inconsistencies can help uncover underlying motivations. To effectively spot half-truths, cultivate curiosity and healthy skepticism. Ask probing questions, seek clarification, and don't accept information at face value. Develop critical thinking skills by analyzing presented information, considering sources, and evaluating supporting evidence. By honing these skills, you can navigate the complex landscape of truth and deception more effectively, fostering clearer communication and making more informed decisions in both personal and professional contexts. Chapter 5. Using the power of observation. The thin slicing technique. Rapid behavioral assessment. The concept of thin slicing, popularized by Malcolm Gladwell in his book Blink, refers to the remarkable ability of the human mind to make quick, accurate judgments based on limited information. This technique, when honed and applied consciously, can be a powerful tool in reading people and assessing situations rapidly. At its core, thin slicing involves making inferences about a person's character, emotional state, or intentions based on brief exposures to their behavior. These snapshots, often lasting just a few seconds, can provide surprisingly accurate insights when interpreted correctly. The power of thin slicing lies in its ability to bypass conscious, analytical thinking and tap into our intuitive understanding of human behavior. Our brains are constantly processing vast amounts of information from our environment, much of which never reaches our conscious awareness. Thin slicing allows us to access this wealth of subconscious data and make rapid assessments. To effectively use thin slicing, one must first cultivate acute observational skills. Pay attention to subtle cues such as facial expressions, body language, tone of voice, and micro-expressions. These fleeting signals often reveal more about a person's true state than their words or deliberate actions. Practice focusing on specific aspects of behavior in short time frames. For instance, observe how someone enters a room. Their posture, gait, and initial interactions can reveal much about their confidence level and social comfort. Similarly, watching how individuals react in the first few seconds after receiving news can provide insights into their emotional processing and interpersonal dynamics. It's crucial to remember that while thin slicing can be remarkably accurate, it's not infallible. Our judgments can be influenced by personal biases, cultural differences, and contextual factors. Therefore, it's important to use thin slicing as a starting point for further observation and interaction, rather than as a definitive assessment. To improve your thin slicing skills, engage in regular people-watching exercises, visit public spaces, and practice making quick assessments of individuals or groups. Then, if possible, observe them for longer periods to see how accurate your initial judgments were. This practice can help refine your intuitive understanding of human behavior. In professional settings, thin slicing can be particularly valuable. During interviews, negotiations, or client meetings, the ability to quickly assess someone's emotional state, level of interest, or potential concerns can give you a significant advantage in tailoring your approach and building rapport. However, it's essential to approach thin slicing ethically. While it's a powerful tool for understanding others, it should not be used to manipulate or make unfair judgments. Always be open to revising your initial assessments as you gather more information. By developing your thin slicing skills, you can enhance your ability to read people quickly and accurately. This can lead to more effective communication, better decision-making in social and professional contexts, and a deeper understanding of human behavior. Remember, the goal is not to make snap judgments, but to use these rapid assessments as a starting point for more meaningful interactions and insights. How to observe people without being obvious. Observing people discreetly is an art that requires subtlety, respect for privacy, and ethical consideration. When done correctly, it can provide valuable insights into human behavior without making others uncomfortable or violating social norms. One of the most effective techniques for unobtrusive observation is to use your peripheral vision. Instead of staring directly at someone, practice expanding your field of vision to take in details from a wider angle. This allows you to gather information without making eye contact or appearing to focus on any one individual. Positioning is crucial for discrete observation. Choose locations that provide a good vantage point without drawing attention to yourself. In public spaces, this might mean sitting at a cafe table with a view of the area, or standing near a wall in a way that allows you to see without being in the center of attention. Engage in a decoy activity to make your presence less conspicuous. Reading a book, working on a laptop, or scrolling through your phone can provide cover for your observations. However, be sure to actually engage with these activities periodically to maintain authenticity. Use reflective surfaces to your advantage. Windows, mirrors, and even the screens of electronic devices can allow you to observe people behind or beside you without turning your head. Practice using these surfaces subtly to expand your field of observation. Timing your glances is essential. Quick, periodic scans of your environment are less likely to be noticed than prolonged stares. Develop a rhythm of brief observations interspersed with focusing on other things to avoid drawing attention to your interest. In conversations, practice active listening while also paying attention to nonverbal cues. This allows you to gather information about the person's emotional state, level of engagement, and potential hidden meanings behind their words without appearing to scrutinize them. Be aware of cultural norms and personal boundaries. What might be considered acceptable observation in one culture could be seen as intrusive in another. Always err on the side of respect and discretion. If you're caught observing someone, have a natural explanation ready. For instance, you might compliment an item of clothing or ask for directions. This can help diffuse any potential discomfort and maintain social harmony. Remember, the goal of discreet observation is to understand human behavior better, not to invade privacy or make others uncomfortable. Always use these skills ethically and be prepared to disengage if your observation is causing distress to others. By mastering the art of unobtrusive observation, you can gain valuable insights into human behavior and social dynamics without disrupting the natural flow of interactions around you. This skill can enhance your understanding of people and situations, leading to more effective communication and decision-making in various aspects of life. Read people like Sherlock Holmes, analyzing situations with logic. Sherlock Holmes, the iconic detective created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, is renowned for his exceptional observational skills and logical reasoning. Emulating his approach can significantly enhance your ability to read people and analyze situations with precision. The foundation of Holmes's method is keen observation. Train yourself to notice details that others might overlook. Pay attention to a person's appearance, mannerisms, and subtle behavioral cues. For instance, the state of someone's shoes can reveal information about their occupation or recent activities. The way they hold themselves might indicate their emotional state or level of confidence. Develop the habit of making logical inferences from your observations. Holmes famously uses deductive reasoning to draw conclusions from the evidence at hand. Practice connecting seemingly unrelated details to form a coherent picture. For example, if you notice someone with calloused hands wearing business attire, you might infer they have a hobby or secondary occupation involving manual labor. Context is crucial in Holmesian analysis. Consider the environment and circumstances surrounding the person or situation you're observing. The same behavior might have different implications depending on the setting. A person fidgeting in a waiting room might be nervous, while the same behavior in a cold outdoor setting could simply indicate discomfort from the temperature. Holmes often emphasizes the importance of eliminating impossibilities to uncover the truth. When analyzing a situation, systematically rule out improbable explanations. This process of elimination can lead you to conclusions that, while perhaps unlikely at first glance, are the most logical given the available evidence. Develop a mental catalogue of knowledge that you can draw upon in your observations. Holmes' vast knowledge of subjects ranging from chemistry to literature allows him to make connections others might miss. While you don't need encyclopedic knowledge, having a broad understanding of various topics can enhance your ability to interpret what you observe. Practice active listening when engaging with others. Pay attention not just to what people say, but how they say it. Tone of voice, word choice, and what's left unsaid can often reveal more than the explicit content of a conversation. Be aware of your own biases and preconceptions. Holmes strives for objectivity in his observations and deductions. Recognize that your personal experiences and beliefs can color your interpretations, and strive to set these aside when analyzing situations. Cultivate patience in your observations. Holmes often spends time quietly observing before drawing conclusions. Resist the urge to jump to immediate judgments, and allow yourself time to gather and process information thoroughly. Finally, remember that even Sherlock Holmes can make mistakes. Be open to revising your conclusions as new information becomes available. The ability to admit error and adjust your thinking is a crucial part of logical analysis. By adopting these Holmesian techniques, you can sharpen your observational skills and logical reasoning abilities. This approach can lead to more accurate assessments of people and situations, enhancing your decision-making and problem-solving capabilities in both personal and professional contexts. Remember, the goal is not to make snap judgments, but to develop a more thorough and logical understanding of the world around you. The power of asking the right questions. Mastering the art of asking the right questions is a crucial skill in reading people and uncovering hidden truths. Well-crafted questions can reveal motivations, expose inconsistencies, and provide deeper insights into a person's thoughts and feelings. The foundation of effective questioning lies in open-ended inquiries. These questions, which cannot be answered with a simple yes or no, encourage detailed responses and allow the speaker to elaborate. For example, instead of asking, "Did you enjoy the event?" try, "What aspects of the event stood out to you?" This approach yields richer information and opens avenues for further exploration. Timing is crucial when asking questions. Pay attention to the flow of conversation and look for natural openings to introduce your inquiries. Abrupt or poorly timed questions can make people defensive or less likely to share openly. Be patient and allow the conversation to develop organically. Practice active listening as you ask questions. Focus not just on formulating your next query, but on truly understanding the responses you receive. This attentiveness will help you pick up on subtle cues and guide your follow-up questions more effectively. Use probing questions to delve deeper into topics of interest. When someone gives a vague or general answer, follow up with specific inquiries to uncover more details. For instance, if someone says they had a good day, hypothetical questions can be powerful tools for understanding someone's values and decision-making processes. Asking, "What would you do if?" scenarios can reveal much about a person's priorities and moral compass. Be mindful of the tone and phrasing of your questions. Avoid accusatory or judgmental language that might make the other person defensive. Instead, frame your inquiries in a neutral or curious manner to encourage open and honest responses. Pay attention to nonverbal cues as you ask questions. A person's body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice can often reveal more than their words. Notice any discrepancies between verbal responses and nonverbal signals, as these can indicate areas for further exploration. Use reflective questioning to clarify and confirm your understanding. Paraphrase what you've heard and ask if your interpretation is correct. This not only ensures accuracy, but also demonstrates that you're actively engaged in the conversation. Remember that silence can be a powerful tool in questioning. After asking a question, resist the urge to fill quiet moments. Often people will elaborate or provide more thoughtful responses if given time to reflect. Be prepared to adapt your questioning strategy based on the responses you receive. If someone seems uncomfortable with a particular line of inquiry, be flexible enough to shift your approach or topic. Lastly, always approach questioning with respect and empathy. The goal is to understand, not to interrogate. Be sensitive to the other person's boundaries and be prepared to back off if a topic seems too personal or uncomfortable. By honing your skills in asking the right questions, you can significantly enhance your ability to read people and situations accurately. This skill is invaluable in personal relationships, professional settings, and any situation where understanding others is key. Remember, the art of questioning is not about extracting information, but about fostering meaningful dialogue and deeper understanding. Indirect questions, direct information, extracting hidden truths. The technique of using indirect questions to extract direct information is a subtle yet powerful tool in the art of reading people. This approach allows you to gather valuable insights without making the other person feel interrogated or defensive, often leading to more honest and revealing responses. Indirect questioning relies on the principle that people are often more forthcoming when they don't feel directly pressured or scrutinized. By framing your inquiries in a roundabout manner, you can encourage individuals to share information they might otherwise withhold. One effective strategy is to use hypothetical scenarios. Instead of asking someone directly about their personal experiences or opinions, Present a fictional situation and ask how they think someone might react. For example, rather than asking, "Have you ever considered quitting your job?" you might say, "If someone was unhappy in their job, what do you think they should do?" This approach often leads people to project their own feelings and experiences onto the hypothetical situation, revealing their true thoughts. Another technique is to ask about general trends or observations rather than personal experiences. For instance, instead of asking, "Are you having problems with your manager?" you might inquire, "What do you think are common challenges people face with management in this industry?" This broader framing allows the person to share personal insights under the guise of discussing general issues. Using third-party references can also be effective. You might say, "I heard someone mention that. What do you think about that?" This approach gives the person an opportunity to agree or disagree without feeling like they're directly revealing their own stance. Temporal displacement is another useful tactic. By asking about past experiences or future possibilities, you can often gain insights into current situations. For example, looking back, what would you have done differently in your career can reveal current job dissatisfaction or aspirations. Pay attention to nonverbal cues when using indirect questions. Often, the way someone responds physically, their facial expressions, body language, or tone of voice, can be more revealing than their words. A slight hesitation, a change in posture, or a shift in eye contact can indicate that you've touched on a sensitive or significant topic. Be prepared to follow up on revealing responses with more direct questions when appropriate. If an indirect question yields an interesting insight, you can gradually shift to more specific inquiries to explore the topic further. Remember to maintain a conversational tone throughout this process. The goal is to create a comfortable atmosphere where the other person feels at ease sharing information. Avoid rapid-fire questioning or abrupt topic changes that might make the conversation feel like an interrogation. It's crucial to use this technique ethically. The aim is to foster open communication and understanding, not to manipulate or deceive. Be respectful of personal boundaries and be prepared to back off if the person seems uncomfortable. Lastly, practice active listening throughout the conversation. Often the most valuable information comes not from the answers to your indirect questions, but from the tangential details or stories that emerge naturally in the course of the discussion. By mastering the art of indirect questioning, you can become adept at extracting hidden truths and gaining deeper insights into people's thoughts, feelings, and motivations. This skill is invaluable in various settings, from personal relationships to professional negotiations, allowing you to navigate complex social situations with greater understanding and effectiveness. What people say versus what they actually mean. Deciphering the true meaning behind people's words is a crucial skill in reading people effectively. Often there's a significant gap between what individuals say and what they actually mean, driven by social conventions, personal fears, or complex emotions. One key aspect of this discrepancy is the use of polite language that masks true feelings. For instance, when someone says, "I'll think about it," they often mean no, but are avoiding direct rejection. Understanding these social niceties and their underlying meanings is essential for accurate interpretation. Pay attention to qualifiers and hedging language. Phrases like "sort of," "kind of," or "I guess" often indicate uncertainty or a lack of full commitment to the stated opinion. These subtle linguistic cues can reveal hesitation or disagreement that the speaker is reluctant to express directly. Nonverbal cues are crucial in decoding true meaning. A person might verbally agree while their body language, crossed arms, averted gaze, or tense posture, suggests discomfort or disagreement. Learning to read these physical signals in conjunction with verbal communication is key to understanding the whole message. Context plays a significant role in interpretation. The same words can have different meanings depending on the situation, the relationship between speakers, and cultural norms. For example, "That's interesting" could be genuine enthusiasm in one context or polite dismissal in another. Emotional subtext often underlies surface-level communication. When someone says, "I'm fine," learning to recognize these emotional undercurrents is crucial for understanding true meanings. Be aware of deflection and topic changes. When people are uncomfortable with a subject, they might respond to questions with unrelated information or quickly shift the conversation. This evasion can be as telling as a direct answer. Cultural differences significantly impact communication styles. In some cultures, direct disagreement is considered impolite, leading to more subtle forms of expressing dissent. Understanding these cultural nuances is essential for accurate interpretation, especially in diverse environments. Personal insecurities and fears often lead to indirect communication. Someone might say, "You're so talented at this," when they actually mean, "I feel insecure about my own abilities in comparison." Recognizing these underlying emotions can provide deeper insights into the speaker's true meaning. Sarcasm and humor can be used to express true feelings indirectly. A seemingly joking comment might contain a kernel of truth that the speaker feels uncomfortable expressing directly. Learning to distinguish between genuine humor and humor used as a defense mechanism is crucial. Practice active listening and ask clarifying questions when unsure. Sometimes the best way to understand what someone really means is to gently probe further or rephrase what you've heard to confirm your understanding. Be mindful of your own biases and projections. Our interpretation of others' words can be colored by our own experiences and expectations. Strive for objectivity and be open to revising your initial interpretation. Understanding the difference between what people say and what they actually mean requires a combination of keen observation, emotional intelligence, and contextual awareness. It involves looking beyond the surface level of communication to the underlying intentions, emotions, and motivations. Pay attention to patterns in a person's communication style. Some individuals consistently use understatement while others might exaggerate. Recognizing these personal patterns can help you calibrate your interpretation of their words more accurately. Consider the power dynamics at play in any interaction. People may alter their language or meaning based on perceived hierarchies or social standings. For instance, an employee might agree with a boss's idea verbally, while their true disagreement is expressed through lack of enthusiasm or minimal follow-through. Timing and delivery can also be telling. Delayed responses, long pauses, or rushed answers can all indicate that the spoken words might not align with true feelings or intentions. Remember that sometimes people aren't fully aware of the disconnect between their words and their true feelings. Self-deception or lack of self-awareness can lead to genuine belief in statements that don't reflect deeper truths. Developing the skill to discern true meaning from spoken words is an ongoing process. It requires patience, practice, and a willingness to look beyond the surface. By honing this ability, you can navigate social and professional situations more effectively, build stronger relationships based on genuine understanding, and make more informed decisions in your interactions with others. Ultimately, the goal is not to become cynical or to assume people are always hiding their true meanings, but to develop a more nuanced and accurate understanding of human communication in all its complexity. Chapter 6: Emotional Intelligence and Influence. The role of empathy in reading people accurately. Empathy stands as a cornerstone in the art of reading people accurately. This profound ability to understand and share the feelings of another person provides a unique window into their inner world, allowing for a deeper and more nuanced interpretation of their behaviors and motivations. Empathy goes beyond mere observation. It involves a genuine connection with the emotional state of others, creating a bridge of understanding that transcends surface-level interaction. Developing empathy begins with active listening and keen observation. It requires setting aside one's own preconceptions and biases to truly focus on the other person's experience. This involves not just hearing their words, but also paying attention to their tone of voice, facial expressions, and body language. These non-verbal cues often convey more about a person's emotional state than their words alone, Practicing perspective taking is a crucial aspect of empathetic reading. This involves mentally putting oneself in the other person's position, considering their background, experiences, and current circumstances. By doing so, one can gain insights into the underlying reasons for their behaviors and reactions, leading to a more accurate and compassionate understanding. Empathy also involves recognizing and managing one's own emotions. Being aware of personal feelings and biases allows for a clearer, more objective view of others. It prevents the projection of one's own emotions onto the person being observed, ensuring a more accurate reading. Cultural awareness plays a significant role in empathetic reading. Different cultures express emotions and interact in varied ways. Understanding these cultural nuances enhances one's ability to accurately interpret behaviors and emotions across diverse groups. Developing empathy is an ongoing process that requires practice and patience. It involves cultivating curiosity about others, asking thoughtful questions, and truly listening to the answers. Over time, this practice not only improves one's ability to read people, but also fosters deeper, more meaningful connections in both personal and professional relationships. Empathy in reading people is not about making judgments or manipulating others. Instead, it's about creating a space of understanding and connection. This empathetic approach leads to more accurate insights, better communication, and ultimately, more positive and productive interactions with others. By honing empathetic skills, one can navigate the complex landscape of human emotions and behaviors with greater ease and accuracy. This deeper understanding allows for more effective communication, conflict resolution, and relationship building, making empathy an invaluable tool in the art of reading people. How to detect emotional manipulation and gaslighting. Detecting emotional manipulation and gaslighting requires a keen awareness of subtle psychological tactics and their effects. These insidious forms of emotional abuse can be challenging to identify, as they often occur gradually and can leave victims doubting their own perceptions and reality. Emotional manipulation involves the use of various techniques to influence someone's emotions and behaviors for personal gain. Gaslighting, a specific form of manipulation, aims to make the victim question their own memory, perception, and sanity. Recognizing these tactics is crucial for maintaining emotional well-being and healthy relationships. One key indicator of emotional manipulation is the presence of guilt tripping. Manipulators often use exaggerated or false accusations to induce feelings of guilt, making the victim feel responsible for the manipulator's happiness or problems. This tactic is designed to control behavior through emotional leverage. Another common manipulative tactic is love bombing, where the manipulator showers the victim with excessive affection and attention, only to withdraw it later as a means of control. This creates an emotional dependency and can make the victim more susceptible to future manipulation. Gaslighting often manifests through denial of past events or conversations, even in the face of clear evidence. The gaslighter might claim, "I never said that," or "You're remembering it wrong," causing the victim to doubt their own memory and perception of reality. Manipulators and gaslighters frequently use minimization and trivializing to downplay the victim's concerns or feelings. Phrases like, "You're too sensitive," or "You're overreacting" are common, serving to invalidate the victim's emotional experiences and make them question their own judgment. Shifting blame is another hallmark of emotional manipulation. The manipulator may consistently refuse to take responsibility for their actions, instead turning accusations back on the victim or finding ways to make the victim feel at fault for the manipulator's behavior. Recognizing these tactics requires maintaining a strong sense of self and trusting one's own perceptions. It's important to pay attention to patterns of behavior over time, as manipulation and gaslighting are often ongoing processes rather than isolated incidents. Seeking external validation can be helpful in cases of suspected gaslighting. Confiding in trusted friends or family members about specific incidents can provide an outside perspective and help confirm or challenge one's perceptions. Maintaining clear boundaries is crucial in dealing with emotional manipulators. This involves being firm about personal limits and not allowing guilt or emotional pressure to override one's own needs and values. Developing emotional intelligence and self-awareness can serve as a strong defense against manipulation. Understanding one's own emotional triggers and reactions makes it easier to identify when someone is attempting to exploit these vulnerabilities. In cases of persistent manipulation or gaslighting, seeking professional help from a therapist or counselor can be invaluable. These professionals can provide tools and strategies for dealing with manipulative behavior and help in rebuilding self-trust and confidence. Ultimately, recognizing emotional manipulation and gaslighting is about trusting one's instincts and maintaining a strong sense of reality. By staying aware of these tactics and their effects, individuals can protect themselves from emotional abuse and maintain healthier, more balanced relationships. Recognizing hidden power dynamics in conversations. Recognizing hidden power dynamics in conversations is a crucial skill in understanding the subtle interplay of influence and control that often occurs beneath the surface of social interactions. These dynamics can significantly impact the flow of communication, decision-making processes, and the overall outcomes of interpersonal exchanges. Power dynamics in conversations are often expressed through subtle cues rather than overt displays of authority. One key aspect to observe is the control of conversation flow. Those in a position of power may dominate speaking time, interrupt others more frequently, or have the ability to change topics at will. Conversely, those with less perceived power might hesitate to speak up or frequently seek permission or validation before expressing their view. Nonverbal communication plays a significant role in conveying power dynamics. Posture, eye contact, and physical positioning can all indicate the perceived balance of power in an interaction. For instance, someone in a position of authority might maintain strong eye contact, use expansive gestures, or position themselves centrally in a group setting. The use of language and tone can also reveal underlying power structures. Those with more power might use more assertive language, speak with greater certainty, or employ professional jargon to establish expertise. They may also use inclusive pronouns like we to create a sense of shared responsibility when it suits them, or distancing language to separate themselves from unfavorable outcomes. Attention dynamics within a group can indicate hidden power structures. Observing whose opinions are sought out, whose ideas are built upon, and who is most often deferred to, can provide insights into the informal power hierarchy within a group. The ability to set the emotional tone of a conversation is another indicator of power. Individuals with more influence may have a greater capacity to shift the mood of an interaction, whether towards seriousness, humor, or tension, with others often following their lead. Decision-making processes in conversations can reveal power imbalances. Notice who has the final say in decisions, whose ideas are implemented, and how disagreements are resolved. Those with more power often have a greater influence on outcomes, even if it's not explicitly acknowledged. Cultural and contextual factors significantly influence power dynamics and must be considered for accurate interpretation. What might be seen as a power move in one culture could be a sign of respect or deference in another. Recognizing one's own position within these power dynamics is crucial for self-awareness and effective communication. Understanding personal biases and how one's own perceived power, or lack thereof, influences interactions can lead to more balanced and productive conversations. It's important to note that power dynamics are not inherently negative. In many situations, clear leadership and decision-making structures are necessary and beneficial. The key is to be aware of these dynamics and ensure they are not being abused or leading to the marginalization of certain voices. By developing the ability to recognize hidden power dynamics in conversations, individuals can navigate social and professional interactions more effectively. This awareness allows for more strategic communication, better negotiation outcomes, and the ability to create more inclusive and equitable dialogue spaces. Influence. Needs versus manipulation. How people control situations. Understanding the distinction between influence and manipulation is crucial in deciphering how people control situations. While both involve affecting others' behaviors or decisions, the methods, intentions, and outcomes differ significantly. Influence is generally considered a positive or neutral force in social interactions. It involves persuading others through logical arguments, emotional appeals, or by setting a positive example. Influential individuals often rely on their credibility, expertise, or charisma to sway opinions or actions. The key characteristic of influence is that it respects the autonomy of others, allowing them to make informed decisions based on presented information or perspectives. Manipulation, on the other hand, is typically seen as a negative form of control. It involves using deceptive or abusive tactics to coerce others into behaving in a way that primarily benefits the manipulator. Manipulative techniques often exploit emotional vulnerabilities, use misleading information, or create artificial pressures to achieve desired outcomes. One way to distinguish between influence and manipulation is by examining the transparency of the methods used. Influence tends to be more open and honest, with clear communication of intentions and desired outcomes. Manipulation often involves hidden agendas and indirect approaches, where the true motives are concealed from the target. The long-term effects of influence versus manipulation also differ. Influence can lead to genuine changes in perspective or behavior, often resulting in mutual benefit and strengthened relationships. Manipulation, while potentially effective in the short term, often leads to resentment, distrust, and damaged relationships once the tactics are recognized. People who use influence effectively often focus on building trust and credibility over time. They may share personal experiences, demonstrate expertise, or appeal to shared values to persuade others. In contrast, manipulators might use tactics like guilt-tripping, gaslighting, or creating artificial scarcity to pressure others into compliance. The ethical implications of influence and manipulation are markedly different. Influence respects the dignity and autonomy of others, aiming to persuade through honest means. Manipulation disregards the well-being and free will of others, prioritizing the manipulator's goals above all else. In professional settings, the line between influence and manipulation can sometimes blur. Effective leaders use influence to motivate and guide their teams, while unethical managers might resort to manipulative tactics like favoritism or threats to control employees. Recognizing the difference between influence and manipulation requires keen observation and emotional intelligence. Pay attention to how you feel during and after interactions. Influence often leaves one feeling informed and empowered, while manipulation can lead to feelings of confusion, guilt, or resentment. Understanding these dynamics is not just about identifying them in others, but also about being aware of one's own methods of control. Reflecting on personal tactics for getting others to comply with requests or adopt certain viewpoints can lead to more ethical and effective communication strategies. By developing the ability to distinguish between influence and manipulation, individuals can navigate social and professional environments more effectively. This awareness allows for more authentic interactions, better decision-making, and the cultivation of healthier, more balanced relationships. The unspoken energy in a room, how to sense emotions instantly. The ability to sense the unspoken energy in a room and instantly gauge the emotional atmosphere is a powerful skill in reading people and situations. This intuitive capacity, often referred to as emotional intelligence or social awareness, allows one to pick up on subtle cues and undercurrents that shape group dynamics and individual interactions. At the core of this skill is the practice of heightened awareness. It involves tuning into the collective mood and energy of a space immediately upon entering. This initial impression often provides valuable insights into the emotional state of the group, even before any words are exchanged. Body language plays a crucial role in sensing room energy. Observe the postures, facial expressions, and physical positioning of individuals in the space. Are people leaning in towards each other, indicating engagement and interest? or are they physically distanced, with closed-off postures, suggesting tension or discomfort? The collective body language of a group can speak volumes about the prevailing emotional atmosphere. Listening to the tone and rhythm of conversations, even without focusing on specific words, can reveal much about the emotional state of a room. A space filled with lively, overlapping voices might indicate excitement or celebration, while hushed tones or prolonged silences could suggest tension or solemnity. Facial expressions, particularly micro-expressions, these fleeting expressions, lasting only a fraction of a second, can reveal true feelings that might be masked in more controlled facial expressions. The physical arrangement of a space can also influence and reflect the emotional energy. Notice how people have positioned themselves in relation to each other and to key features of the room. Clustering, isolation, or the formation of subgroups can all indicate underlying emotional currents. Sensing emotions instantly also involves tuning into one's own physical and emotional responses upon entering a space. Our bodies often react to the emotional energy of a room before our conscious mind processes it. Pay attention to any sudden feelings of tension, relaxation, excitement, or discomfort, as these can be valuable indicators of the room's energy. Cultural awareness is crucial in accurately sensing emotions in diverse settings. Different cultures express and perceive emotions in varied ways, and what might be a sign of respect in one culture could be interpreted as discomfort in another. Developing this skill requires practice and mindfulness. Regularly taking a moment to consciously assess the emotional atmosphere of different environments can sharpen this ability over time. This practice can be particularly valuable in professional settings, helping to navigate meetings, negotiations, and social gatherings more effectively. It's important to approach this skill with an open mind and avoid jumping to conclusions based on initial impressions. The energy in a room can shift quickly, and what might seem like tension could be concentration, or what appears as excitement might mask underlying anxiety. By honing the ability to sense emotions instantly, one can adapt their approach and communication style to better suit the emotional context of any situation. This skill enables more empathetic and effective interactions, allowing for better leadership, conflict resolution, and relationship building in both personal and professional spheres. Chapter 7. Mastering Social Dynamics. How to read a room before speaking. Mastering the art of reading a room before speaking is a crucial skill in navigating social dynamics. This ability allows you to gauge the emotional atmosphere and energy of a space, enabling you to tailor your approach and communication style for maximum impact. Upon entering a room, take a moment to observe the body language, facial expressions, and interactions of those present. Are people engaged in lively conversation, or is there a sense of tension in the air? Understanding the collective mood can inform how you choose to introduce yourself or present your ideas. Pay close attention to the physical arrangement of individuals within the space. Notice how people are positioned in relation to one another. Are they clustered together, indicating camaraderie, or are they spread out, suggesting discomfort or disengagement? This spatial awareness can provide valuable insights into the dynamics at play and help you navigate the conversation more effectively. The tone of conversations is another critical element to consider. The volume, pace, and emotional quality of discussions can reveal much about the group's energy. If the atmosphere is lively and animated, it may be appropriate to adopt a more enthusiastic tone in your own contributions. Conversely, if the mood is subdued or serious, a more measured approach may be warranted. Nonverbal cues of those present offer a wealth of information about how people are feeling. Look for signs of engagement, such as nodding, leaning in, or maintaining eye contact. Conversely, crossed arms, averted gazes, or fidgeting may indicate discomfort or disinterest. By tuning into these signals, you can gauge the receptiveness of your audience and adjust your approach accordingly. Consider the context of the gathering as well. The purpose of the meeting or event can greatly influence the emotional atmosphere. A casual social gathering may invite a more relaxed and informal approach, while a formal business meeting may require a more professional demeanor. Understanding the context allows you to align your communication style with the expectations of the group. Finally, trust your instincts. Often, your gut feelings about the energy in a room can provide valuable insights. If something feels off, or if you sense tension, take a moment to reflect on how to address it. This might involve acknowledging the atmosphere directly or adjusting your message to be more sensitive to the group's emotional state. Recognizing social status through subtle cues. Recognizing social status through subtle cues is a vital skill in understanding the dynamics of human interactions. Social hierarchies often manifest in nonverbal communication, and being able to identify these cues can provide valuable insights into the relationships and power structures at play in any given situation. Body language is one of the primary indicators of social status. Individuals in positions of authority often exhibit more dominant postures, such as standing tall with shoulders back, taking up more space, and using expansive gestures. In contrast, those with less perceived power may adopt more closed-off postures, such as crossing their arms or hunching their shoulders. Observing these physical manifestations can help you gauge the relative status of individuals in a group. Eye contact is another critical factor in assessing social status. Those in higher positions often maintain strong eye contact, projecting confidence and authority. Conversely, individuals with lower status may avoid eye contact or look down, indicating submission or discomfort. However, cultural differences can influence eye contact norms, so it's essential to consider the context when interpreting this cue. The way individuals speak can also reveal their social status. Those in positions of power may use assertive language, speak with authority, and employ a confident tone. They might also use jargon or technical language to establish expertise. In contrast, individuals with less perceived power may speak more tentatively, using qualifiers or hedging language that indicates uncertainty. The level of engagement in conversations can signal social status as well. Individuals with higher status often dominate discussions, steering the conversation and influencing the topics being addressed. They may also receive more attention from others who are eager to hear their opinions or insights. Conversely, those with lower status may find themselves interrupted or overlooked, indicating their lesser influence in the group. Another subtle cue to consider is the use of personal space. People in positions of authority may feel entitled to invade personal space, standing closer to others without causing discomfort. In contrast, individuals with lower status may be more conscious of maintaining appropriate distances, reflecting their awareness of social boundaries. How to gauge trustworthiness in seconds. Gauging trustworthiness in seconds is a critical skill in social dynamics, allowing individuals to make quick assessments about the reliability and intentions of others. In a world where first impressions can significantly impact relationships and decision-making, being able to read trustworthiness accurately can lead to more informed choices and healthier interactions. One of the primary indicators of trustworthiness is consistency in behavior. When assessing someone's reliability, pay attention to how their words align with their actions. Trustworthy individuals typically demonstrate congruence between what they say and what they do. If someone frequently makes promises but fails to follow through, it may signal a lack of reliability. Conversely, individuals who consistently meet their commitments and align their actions with their stated values are often seen as more trustworthy. Nonverbal cues play a significant role in gauging trustworthiness. Eye contact is a powerful indicator. Individuals who maintain steady eye contact while speaking are often perceived as more honest and confident. However, it's essential to consider cultural differences, as norms regarding eye contact can vary. Additionally, open body language, such as uncrossed arms and a relaxed posture, can signal approachability and sincerity, while closed-off postures may indicate defensiveness or dishonesty. Listening to the tone of voice can provide further insights into trustworthiness. A calm, steady tone often conveys confidence and honesty, while a shaky or overly loud voice may suggest anxiety or insincerity. Pay attention to the emotional quality of the speaker's voice, as genuine emotions tend to resonate more authentically than rehearsed or exaggerated expressions. Another effective technique for gauging trustworthiness is to ask open-ended questions and observe how the individual responds. Trustworthy people are generally willing to provide detailed answers and engage in meaningful dialogue. In contrast, evasive or vague responses may indicate a lack of transparency or an attempt to conceal the truth. Additionally, watch for signs of defensiveness, such as excessive justification or shifting blame, which can signal untrustworthiness. Context is crucial when assessing trustworthiness. Consider the situation and the individual's relationship to you or the group. Someone may behave differently in high-stakes situations compared to casual interactions. Understanding the context allows for a more nuanced interpretation of their behavior and intentions. Spotting hidden agendas in conversations. Spotting hidden agendas in conversations is a crucial skill in navigating complex social and professional environments. Hidden agendas are underlying motives or objectives that individuals may not openly express, but which drive their behavior and communication. Recognizing these covert intentions can provide valuable insights into the true nature of interactions and help in making informed decisions. One key indicator of a hidden agenda is inconsistency between words and actions. Pay close attention to whether an individual's behavior aligns with their stated intentions. For instance, someone might express support for a project verbally, but consistently fail to contribute or follow through. This discrepancy could signal an underlying agenda that differs from their outward stance. Another telltale sign is the use of manipulative language techniques. This might include excessive flattery, subtle guilt-tripping, or the use of loaded questions. For example, a colleague might preface a request with lavish praise, attempting to create a sense of obligation. Recognizing these linguistic patterns can help in identifying when someone is trying to influence outcomes in their favor without being direct about their intentions. Body language can also reveal hidden agendas. Look for signs of discomfort or insincerity, such as avoiding eye contact, fidgeting, or forced smiles. These nonverbal cues might indicate that the person is not being entirely truthful or is holding back information. Additionally, pay attention to micro-expressions, fleeting facial expressions that often reveal true emotions before they're masked. The direction and flow of conversations can provide clues about hidden agendas. If someone consistently steers discussions towards particular topics or outcomes, regardless of the initial subject, it may indicate an underlying motive. Similarly, observe how individuals react when certain topics are brought up. Sudden changes in demeanor or attempts to change the subject can be revealing. Context is crucial in spotting hidden agendas. Consider the individual's position, potential gains or losses, and relationships within the group. Understanding these factors can help in interpreting their behavior and identifying possible motivations that may not be immediately apparent. Another strategy is to pay attention to what is not being said. Omissions can be as telling as what is explicitly stated. If someone consistently avoids discussing certain aspects of a situation or leaves out key information, it might indicate an attempt to conceal or downplay elements that don't align with their agenda. Asking probing questions can be an effective way to uncover hidden agendas. Open-ended queries that encourage elaboration can reveal inconsistencies or areas where an individual is less forthcoming. Pay attention to how comfortable or uncomfortable they appear when pressed for details. It's important to approach the task of spotting hidden agendas with objectivity and empathy. Not all undisclosed motivations are necessarily negative or manipulative. Sometimes individuals may have legitimate reasons for not being fully transparent. The goal is to understand the complete picture rather than to make judgments. Developing this skill requires practice and keen observation. Over time, you'll become more adept at recognizing subtle cues and patterns that indicate hidden agendas. This awareness can lead to more effective communication, better decision-making, and more authentic relationships in both personal and professional spheres. The science of first impressions and why they matter. The science of first impressions reveals the profound impact of initial encounters on our perceptions and relationships. These rapid assessments, often formed within seconds, can significantly influence our long-term opinions and interactions with others. Understanding the mechanisms behind first impressions and their importance can help in navigating social and professional situations more effectively. Research in social psychology has shown that first impressions are formed incredibly quickly. Studies indicate that people make judgments about traits like trustworthiness, competence, and likability within milliseconds of seeing someone's face. These snap judgments activate areas of the brain associated with emotional processing, suggesting that first impressions are as much emotional as they are cognitive. The primacy effect plays a crucial role in the formation and persistence of first impressions. This psychological phenomenon refers to the tendency to remember and give more weight to information encountered first. In social interactions, this means that initial perceptions can disproportionately influence subsequent interpretations of a person's behavior and character. Physical appearance significantly influences first impressions. Factors such as facial features, attire, and grooming contribute to immediate assessments of traits like competence and trustworthiness. For instance, studies have shown that individuals with more symmetrical faces are often perceived as more attractive, and by extension more likable and competent, regardless of their actual abilities. Nonverbal cues are equally important in forming first impressions. Body language, including posture, gestures, and eye contact, conveys a wealth of information about confidence, approachability, and social status. A firm handshake, for example, is often associated with confidence and competence in many Western cultures. The context of the first meeting also plays a crucial role. Environmental factors such as the setting of the encounter and the presence of others can influence how individuals perceive each other. A person met in a professional setting might be viewed differently than if encountered in a casual social environment. Cognitive biases significantly impact the formation of first impressions. The halo effect, for instance, leads people to attribute positive qualities to individuals based on a single positive trait. Conversely, the horn effect causes negative traits to overshadow positive ones. Understanding these biases can help in forming more balanced initial judgments. The importance of first impressions extends beyond social interactions. In professional settings, they can influence hiring decisions, business partnerships, and career advancement. Studies have shown that interviewers often make decisions about candidates within the first few minutes of an interview, with subsequent information serving mainly to confirm initial impressions. In the digital age, first impressions are increasingly formed online. Social media profiles, professional networking sites, and digital communication all contribute to how people are initially perceived. This highlights the importance of managing one's digital presence as part of overall impression management. While first impressions are powerful, they are not immutable. Research suggests that, while difficult, it is possible to change initial perceptions through consistent behavior that contradicts the first impression. However, this process often requires significant time and effort, underscoring the importance of making positive first impressions. Understanding the science of first impressions empowers individuals to manage their own image more effectively and to approach initial encounters with others more mindfully. By recognizing the factors that contribute to these rapid assessments, one can work on presenting themselves in a way that aligns with their desired perception, while also being more aware of potential biases in their judgments of others. Additional sections. Practical exercises to improve your observation skills. Developing keen observation skills is crucial for mastering the art of reading people. Integrating practical exercises into your daily routine can significantly enhance your ability to interpret subtle cues and understand human behavior more accurately. One effective method is to engage in people watching in public spaces, such as cafes, parks, or busy streets. Take time to observe the interactions around you, focusing on body language, facial expressions, and conversational dynamics. Try to infer the emotions and motivations driving these behaviors, and later reflect on the accuracy of your assessments. Active listening is another valuable exercise to sharpen your observational prowess. During conversations, concentrate fully on the speaker, paying attention to their words, tone, and non-verbal cues. Resist the urge to formulate your response while they are speaking. After the conversation, summarize what you heard and ask clarifying questions to deepen your understanding. This practice not only enhances your observational skills, but also fosters stronger connections with others. Role-playing scenarios can be particularly beneficial for honing your people-reading abilities. Partner with a friend or colleague to act out various social situations, taking turns playing different roles. This exercise allows you to experiment with different communication styles and observe how subtle changes in body language and tone can influence interactions. Discussing your observations and insights afterward can provide a deeper understanding of the dynamics at play. Keeping a journal to document your observations and reflections is an excellent way to track your progress and identify patterns in behavior. After social interactions, record your impressions of the people you encountered, noting any non-verbal cues or emotional undercurrents you detected. Over time, this practice can help you refine your ability to read people accurately in various contexts. Seeking feedback from trusted friends or mentors about your observational skills can provide valuable insights into your strengths and areas for improvement. Their perspectives can help you refine your techniques and become more adept at reading people in diverse situations. By consistently practicing these exercises, you can enhance your observational skills and develop a more nuanced understanding of human behavior. Case studies of real-life situations in reading people. Case studies of real-life situations provide invaluable insights into the practical application of people-reading skills. These examples illustrate how observational techniques can be used to navigate complex social and professional scenarios effectively. One such case involves a business negotiation, where a skilled negotiator was able to detect subtle signs of discomfort and hesitation in their counterparts' body language. By recognizing these cues, the negotiator adjusted their approach, addressing unspoken concerns and ultimately reaching a mutually beneficial agreement. Another compelling case study revolves around a therapist who utilized their advanced people-reading skills to uncover a patient's underlying emotional issues. Despite the patient's verbal assurances of well-being, the therapist noticed inconsistencies in their facial expressions and tone of voice. This keen observation led to a breakthrough in therapy, allowing the patient to address deep-seated anxieties they had been unconsciously suppressing. In a workplace scenario, a manager employed their people-reading abilities to resolve a team conflict. By observing the nonverbal cues and interaction patterns among team members, the manager identified the root causes of tension that weren't being openly discussed. This insight enabled them to facilitate a productive dialogue, addressing underlying issues and improving team dynamics. A fascinating case in the realm of law enforcement involves a detective who solved a complex case by paying close attention to a suspect's micro-expressions during questioning. These fleeting facial expressions, lasting only a fraction of a second, revealed emotional responses that contradicted the suspect's statements, ultimately leading to a confession. These real-life examples demonstrate the power of refined observational skills in various contexts. They highlight how the ability to read people accurately can lead to better outcomes in negotiations, therapy, team management, and even criminal investigations. By studying and reflecting on such cases, individuals can gain practical insights into applying people-reading techniques in their own lives and professions. Common mistakes when trying to read people and how to avoid them. While developing people-reading skills is valuable, it's equally important to be aware of common pitfalls that can lead to misinterpretations. One frequent mistake is over-relying on single cues or gestures to draw conclusions about a person's thoughts or intentions. For instance, assuming someone is lying solely because they avoid eye contact ignores cultural differences and individual personality traits. To avoid this, focus on clusters of behaviors and consider the context of the situation. Another common error is projecting one's own emotions or experiences onto others. This can lead to biased interpretations that reflect the observer's state of mind rather than the subject's true feelings. Cultivating self-awareness and regularly checking one's own emotional state can help mitigate this tendency. Confirmation bias is a significant obstacle in accurately reading people. This occurs when individuals seek out information that confirms their pre-existing beliefs while ignoring contradictory evidence. To combat this, consciously look for information that challenges your initial impressions and remain open to changing your assessment. Neglecting cultural differences is another pitfall in people reading. Gestures, expressions, and personal space norms can vary significantly across cultures. What might be a sign of respect in one culture could be interpreted as rudeness in another. Educating oneself about cultural diversity and approaching observations with cultural sensitivity is crucial for accurate interpretation. Overconfidence in one's ability to read people can lead to hasty judgments and missed nuances. Remember that people reading is a complex skill that requires continuous learning and refinement. Maintaining a humble attitude and acknowledging the limitations of your observations can lead to more accurate and nuanced understandings of others. By being aware of these common mistakes and actively working to avoid them, you can significantly improve your ability to read people accurately. Remember that people reading is an ongoing process of observation, reflection, and adjustment, rather than a set of fixed rules or instant judgments. Conclusion. Becoming a master of human behavior. Mastering the art of reading people and understanding human behavior is a lifelong journey that combines keen observation, empathy, and continuous learning. As we conclude this exploration of human behavior, it's essential to reflect on the key principles and skills that form the foundation of this complex art. At its core, becoming a master of human behavior requires a deep appreciation for the nuances and complexities of human nature. It involves recognizing that every individual is shaped by a unique combination of experiences, cultural influences, and personal traits. This understanding fosters a more compassionate and nuanced approach to interpreting behavior, moving beyond superficial judgments to grasp the underlying motivations and emotions that drive human actions. One of the most critical skills in this journey is the ability to observe without judgment. Mastering human behavior isn't about categorizing people or making quick assessments. It's about developing a deep, empathetic understanding of others. This requires patience, open-mindedness, and a willingness to suspend preconceived notions. By approaching each interaction with curiosity and genuine interest, you open yourself to a richer, more accurate understanding of the people around you. Developing strong emotional intelligence is another crucial aspect of mastering human behavior. This involves not only recognizing and understanding your own emotions, but also being attuned to the emotional states of others. Emotional intelligence allows you to navigate complex social situations with grace, respond appropriately to others' needs, and build stronger, more meaningful relationships. The ability to read nonverbal cues, body language, facial expressions, and subtle gestures is a key component of understanding human behavior. These silent signals often communicate more than words, revealing true feelings and intentions that might not be expressed verbally. Honing this skill requires practice and keen attention to detail, but it can provide invaluable insights into human interactions. Another important aspect is understanding the context in which behavior occurs. Human actions don't happen in a vacuum. They're influenced by environmental factors, social dynamics, and personal circumstances. A true master of human behavior considers these contextual elements, recognizing how they shape individual and group behaviors. Continuous learning and self-reflection are essential in this journey. The field of human behavior is vast and ever-evolving, with new research and insights constantly emerging. Staying curious, reading widely, and seeking out diverse perspectives can deepen your understanding and refine your skills. Additionally, regular self-reflection helps you recognize your own biases and limitations, allowing you to approach your observations with greater objectivity and insight. Ethical considerations are paramount in the study and application of human behavior. As you develop your skills in reading people, it's crucial to use this knowledge responsibly and ethically. The goal should always be to foster understanding, empathy, and positive interactions, rather than manipulation or exploitation. Practical application of these skills in various life situations is where true mastery is demonstrated. Whether in personal relationships, professional settings, or casual social interactions, the ability to accurately read and respond to human behavior can lead to more effective communication, stronger leadership, and more fulfilling relationships. In conclusion, becoming a master of human behavior is an ongoing process of learning, observation, and personal growth. It requires a blend of scientific understanding and intuitive insight, coupled with empathy and ethical awareness. By dedicating yourself to this pursuit, you not only gain a deeper understanding of others, but also of yourself. This journey leads to richer, more meaningful interactions and a more nuanced appreciation of the complex tapestry of human experience. As you continue to develop these skills, remember that every interaction is an opportunity to learn, grow, and deepen your understanding of the fascinating world of human behavior.